kids. It's time to get some SML podcast all up in that.
What's up, everybody? This is the SML Podcast. I am your host, Joe. Joining as usual, Cole. How are you doing?
I'm not dead, which
That's
is
good.
kind of vital information given the state of the world today.
Yeah, that's important info now.
I'm still here.
That used to be our running gag that you're alive, and now it's important.
Now it's like a disclaimer. Cole's not dead.
Yeah. I woke up with a stuffy nose, so I'm probably...
I hope it's just allergies.
Yeah, this is the final episode of the SML Podcast. Thank you for being here.
Good 7-8 year run, whatever we've been doing.
7 years. It's been 7 years, and we're going out with a bang because joining us from Wide Right Interactive, Jim Dirschberger. How are you doing today?
Hey, what's up, guys?
Did I get the name right?
You guys are not dead.
We try.
I want to laugh that Joe fucked up on saying wide right.
I did.
But got your last name right.
Yeah, I stuck the landing, man. That's all that matters. Just keep plowing ahead.
He broke his ankle on the pummel bar, but he stuck the landing.
It's funny. I was on a stream that someone was doing a couple days ago, and they kept referring to my company as Far Right Entertainment, and I was like,
"Oh man,
ouch."
Please no.
Oh jeez.
So if anyone's curious, that is a reference to the Buffalo Bills' first Super Bowl loss. I'm from Buffalo, New York. I kicked a field goal. It went wide right. That's it.
That makes sense. That explains it. And the logo too.
Yeah, now the little football. There you go.
Wow.
That makes it so much better. I remember watching that game.
Yeah, it's the only time I've ever seen any of the, my uncle or grandfather like shed a tear. Never at a funeral, anything like that. I mean, it was like the moon landing. The whole family was like huddled around the TV, and then the thing just boom, no good, and it was just like gah,
son of a bitch.
Yeah,
man. So you're from Buffalo, 4 Super Bowls in a row, huh? That sucks.
It's everything that could have been said about it has been said. It's just it's a shame, but I do love Buffalo. I do miss it, and the developers, the actual programmers, the smart guys on our team are all in Buffalo. The Buffalo Game Space did pretty much all the programming, and those guys were a huge help in taking some of my crazy ideas and actually making them actual things, because you need to have programmers to do that. So we do have we got a Buffalo connection in the game as well, which is great.
Well, we should probably get around to the game. It is called Freedom Finger. You label it as a batshit crazy space shooter, which is very apt for the title. For the people who don't know what this game is, give us the elevator pitch.
So Freedom Finger is a music-driven side-scrolling shooter, and its gameplay is driven by its soundtrack, and that soundtrack consists of about 40 licensed music tracks from guys like Aesop Rock, bands like Red Fang and Power Trip. And we got a story in there as well, voiced by Nolan North, John DiMaggio, Eric Bauza, and Sam Riegel. So that's a whole lot of batshit in there as well. But those are the main bullet points.
How the hell did you get so much talent involved in this game?
Primarily my background is in film and television, and I had worked with Nolan. Basically all the 4 cast members on my show. And so it was easy, I had a kind of a direct connection to him to approach him and say, hey, I'm doing this really weird, really wild video game. And because the story is nuts, you want the best, especially I mean, comedy in general, you just want people who are going to get it. You want to take any margin of error out of it. And in order to do that, using some of the best voiceover actors in the business is not a bad start. There's a reason why Nolan North and Eric and Sam and John are in everything. It's because they're the best. You put them in a booth, you give them the script, they give you gold. They don't have off days. As far as I'm concerned, those guys bat 1,000, So yeah, it was just a matter of kind of sending them the script and seeing if they were down to get weird. And luckily, they were.
Yeah, this game it's pretty friggin' weird. I love it. It is. I love the style and the sense of humor in this game. I know Cole wasn't completely on board with the humor. It's very either love it or hate it kind of humor, and I loved it.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we learned when we first kind of debuted the game at PAX East last year, 2019, is, we had the big blue middle finger all over our booth. And I would just kind of stand there and you would watch as people are kind of shuffling by. And there was only two reactions. They would either kind of look at it and their face would light up and they would be like, "Oh, dude, check that out," and like come in and like they want to play it. Or they would just kind of like, "Oh, son of a bitch." They just kind of like be like really disgusted, like, "You idiots." And I'm like, the thing about this game and the story and the music and there's just, I guess, the whole vibe is like, if you can make it past the finger, like there's a good chance you're going to love the other, 99% of the game. And we didn't want to have any reservations or try and disguise, what this game is about, the vibe that we have. So the middle finger, it reads, people know it, and they react to it. And so I think if you look at this game and if the name or the giant middle finger, puts a smile on your face, then, we might be the right game for you.
And the middle finger is like universal sign language. Everybody knows what the middle finger is.
Every country, I mean, I had to do a little bit of research into gestures around the world. And the middle finger is, I mean, that's like gold. Every country takes it. It's like it's the standard for all communication worldwide. So no translation needed.
It had to be hard to market this game with a giant middle finger.
Yes and no. I guess like the first big challenge we had was Nintendo. Nintendo saw our game at PAX. And the guy who runs the publisher developer kind of outreach, Kirk Scott.
See, I'm not the only one who can't talk tonight.
Yeah, Kirk Fox, I think, is a comedian who is in Community or something. He's hilarious. But he wasn't there. So yeah, they saw it and they're like, we want to do something with this. We want to put it into like a Nintendo Direct, but we need to find a way to not mislead people, but to do it in a way that leans into it. So what we ended up doing for the Nintendo presentation, the Indie World, was putting a censored bar over it, and we actually ended up keeping that in the game as a feature, in addition to being able to censor the subtitles and also listen to an alternative dialogue track where every swear word is redubbed by myself with something equally as dumb. I kind of compare it to like watching Pulp Fiction on like, TBS in the middle of the day, where it's just like every swear word is just, it's just like they're replaced with the dumbest stuff.
The kind of censorship where what they censor it with almost makes it worse than what it was in the first place. Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, like in our game, it's like, oh, those shit bags becomes, oh, those shopping bags, like, just dumb. So we, it was a challenge, but we try to use it as an opportunity to throw a few more gags into the game. And yeah, as far as PlayStation and Xbox, we've kind of learned a few lessons. So we used a mixture of the fist, the peace sign, and the censored bar kind of mixed in there. But yeah, maybe next time we'll just go with the index finger. It probably would have saved a lot of grief.
Or you could do the shocker.
Oh yeah, a lot of people at PAX actually were like, "Is the shocker going to be like a power up?" And it's like, God, no,
Oh my God.
An electric power up.
Yeah.
Like a Tesla coil or something, just arc lightning going through the stage. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, there was so much you could do with, so for people who haven't played it, you shoot, a laser blast out of your middle finger. You can punch. I kind of like to call it's kind of like the car horn, and so like if you get overwhelmed in the game and you just want to, need to bust your way out of a situation, you can just punch. You can do a punch combo. And then the last thing you can do is you can grab. So you can pick up enemies and kind of squeeze them and use their weapon as your weapon. Or you can throw them and kind of like go bowling with enemies. So you can like throw them into a crowd of enemies. But there's really no shortage. At one point, we're talking about like metal horns, certainly the shocker. There's just like all the different gestures that you could throw in as different moves or modes. Yeah, maybe for the sequel, we'll see.
Freedom Finger 2. Darius the Snow in chat asked what Freedom Finger 2 when. Speaking of in chat, a shout out to No Time for Games who subbed to us for 24 months in a row now. That is insane.
Yeah, a streak, yeah.
24. Damn. Yeah, and
Good
Mr. Sinister subbed before we went live, so thank you to Mr. Sinister as well. Thank you for the subs, everyone.
He's now retracting after hearing my interview. He's since canceled that sub. I'm so sorry.
Changed my mind. Nope. Fuck these guys. Yeah, I love punching and throwing enemies in this game. Just being able to grab something and chuck it, like throw a motherfucker at another motherfucker. It is so fun and satisfying to do, and just punch shit is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that was probably one of the biggest changes we made during the development. I think originally you had to kind of like transform between the two, and you were punching or you were shooting, and someone was just like on our team after playing it was like, sometimes you just want to be able to hit that button and just go, throw a motherfucker, punch a motherfucker, shoot a motherfucker, and so 3 buttons. It's very simple. And let the chaos begin,
Absolutely. Hand-drawn art style, where did that come from?
That came from an artist by the name of Travis Millard. I've been collaborating with Travis for many, many years on, music videos and animations, cartoons, things like that. Travis comes from, he makes zines, comic books, all that. He does illustrations for a lot of different outlets. But he also has a really strong tie to the music world. He's done album covers for like Aesop Rock and Dinosaur Jr. And so he's kind of has that baked in to his art. It's got kind of like a punk kind of aesthetic to it. So, when I was thinking about this game and a giant middle finger, I was always kind of thinking about it in Travis's art. Like that's how it always looked in my mind. So when I pitched him, he was just super enthusiastic about it. Cut to 2,000 drawings, and 2 years later, maybe a little less enthusiastic about it, but still very much into it. Now that the game's out, I think I just really appreciate all the work that he put into it, because it was insane. He was doing a lot of stuff on pencil on paper. So
old school style.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cole, are you impressed with that?
I actually am. The art was probably one of my favorite things about the game. Like, I know everybody makes a big deal about the bands and the voice actors, but I'm not entrenched enough in gaming culture, even as a co-host, for that to even affect me. I'm like, that's a cool name, thanks.
Yeah, I would say like Sam. When you mentioned Sam Riegel, they either say, "Who's Sam Riegel?" or they're like, "Do you want to see my Sam Riegel tattoo?"
Yeah,
I love that.
And I'm just like, okay. But now when you get talking to me about the art style, then I'm like, I'm fucking down, because I'm an art nerd. So I was really into the art, and I just thought it looked fantastic. it was one of the things about the game where I was like, I wish that the humor sat with me more because I wanted to appreciate it more than what I was, because I didn't just want to be like, oh, look, it's lovely art and it's great gameplay and this is awesome. And also the story.
Yeah. I mean, well, I guess for anyone who, doesn't dig the story or just isn't straight up looking for story in their game, because I know that sometimes you just want to, shoot shit and you don't want to have to be told why or how you're doing it. That's one of the reasons why in this more recent update and with our PlayStation and Xbox ports, we basically opened up all 40 levels in an arcade mode. So if you just want to jump in, and I actually think this is, especially for Switch, which is, one of my favorite platforms, each level is the length of a song. So if you have 3 to 4 minutes that you need to kill, hopefully more, it's kind of great to just be able to pick it up, jump in, open up arcade mode, pick your favorite song or your favorite level, and just play it, So I think we've tried to, story is a big part about why we made the game. And I think with the cast, and the animation, I think certainly one of the biggest draws of the game itself. But for anyone who's not into that, I think we've also tried to accommodate them as well. So you can just pick it up. Oh, there's 3 buttons, shoot, punch, throw. Got it. Let me play.
Yeah, that was definitely the way that I enjoyed the game the most, was just like, I'm just going to blast through and fuck everything with a big giant middle finger and let it roll.
I'm just curious, were you guys able to complete the campaign at all? I did not complete the campaign. I'm probably halfway through. Cool.
Yeah, I got a pretty good way through, but I wasn't able to beat it either.
Yeah, we get way too many games on this show that we rarely were able to beat everything that we get our hands on, but we try to put as much time in as we can. So.
Oh yeah, no,
we're slackers. We're slackers. We suck. No, we don't do our job properly.
Look here, I had 9 motherfucking games last week.
And there's only about 1 billion new games coming out tomorrow on top of the billion.
I'm already full for next week, and it's not even next week yet. Like Tuesday's gonna come, and Joe's gonna blow my Skype up with, "Do you want this? Do you want this? Do you want this?" And I'm gonna be sitting in the corner rocking and crying, going "No," and then typing yes.
Well, that's your own fault. You could always say no.
But then I feel bad because then you're like, "Hey, we have an interview," and I have to be like, "Fuck."
Well, yeah, the interviews you got to do. You're fucked on those.
Just get a soundboard and phone it in, Oh, interesting. Tell me more. Yeah, that's all you need. A couple of those.
My soundboard just say "Get fucked, Joe" over it.
Cole, what did you think of this part of the game? Shut up.
Yeah, shut up. But yeah, no, it's because you sent me the clip of your show yesterday, and just listening to your kind of first impressions about the story, and just because we're getting reviews coming in, and it's really interesting to me, how people are reacting to it. Some people, there's the whole spectrum. It seems like there's not a whole lot of middle ground. There's some people that are like, hey, this is a really cool game. I love the gameplay. It's a great shooter. This comedy, though, can completely miss me because I just did not click with it. And on the opposite side, that's like, they're the ones going to get the Freedom Finger tattoo. They're just like, this is the...
I want the plush.
Yeah, I want...
There's a plushie?
There should be. We have T-shirts. I mean, that's the best we can...
I'd wear a T-shirt. Not around my in-laws, but I don't ever leave the house, so it's fine.
We have stickers. We've been doing this thing where if... and it's... I guess I should be doing more of it now. I've just been so busy with the game, but... if anyone sends us a DM on Twitter with their mailing address, we'll mail you. We have a ton of middle finger stickers, and we have a little certificate that is like your badass certificate that you are officially a Freedom Finger badass. We got some major cigar stickers. My little
certificate would come and say, "You didn't find the game funny, get fucked."
Well, we can customize them.
See, I am so screwed. I am not asking for that sticker. Yeah.
I'm DMing you.
I don't want to sit here and be like, oh, I didn't find it. There was a lot that I did think was funny. I thought the way that you guys mocked American exceptionalism was really good. There was just some moments where I was like, that's uncomfortable. And then carry on. You know.
The story, we should probably touch upon the story. It is going to probably be a hot button issue with the game. Mm-hmm. It deals around Chinese terrorism, which, given what's going on in the world, is kind of eerie that it came out right now. Has that had any effect?
Timing.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like, I guess what, we say in the beginning that the moon has been taken over by Chinese terrorists, which I would hope most people hear that and realize that,
how insane it would be.
It doesn't exist. And we drop a lot of clues, I think, in the intro, where you should, hopefully, if you're listening to it, you pick up that, okay, something's going on here. Like Major Cigar, voiced by Nolan North, who's the commander of this mission, is like, he's a little weird. Something's going on with him. Yeah, and as you progress through the campaign, you're faced with, we have multiple endings and branching paths, and you're really, ultimately, you come face to face with the truth, what is at the root of your mission, why you are doing it, and the reasoning behind why Cigar sent you off on this crazy quest. And, the biggest choice you can make in the game is when, after he kind of bears his soul to you, Cigar asks you if you believe him. Not if you trust him or if you want to do what he wants to do. Just, do you believe this crazy shit that I'm saying? And then and only then does the player really have a choice where they can kind of give him his comeuppance, or they can go along with the craziness, the batshit crazy, and let it ride and see what ruin that leads to. But I was asking about the campaign primarily just because, it's like, on the one hand, because there are a billion games and anytime we get a review on big site, small site, doesn't matter. I'm so grateful that someone took the time to just play the game and give, critical feedback and just let us know what they think. I guess as a writer, it kind of sucks when people aren't able to see the full picture, because I think without the rug pull, without that reveal at the end, it feels like you're kind of the characters are being denied some sort of redemption or a change that happens, and I think provides context to the whole first half of the game. But like you said, on the other hand, I do understand that first impressions matter, and especially when it comes to comedy. Like, if you're not into the setup of a joke, you really have no obligation to stick around for the punchline. So I understand where certain reviewers they check out and they're like, well, why should I, they don't owe it to me to sit there and grind through the next 2 hours to get the resolution of something that isn't clicking with them. Hopefully that's not the case with a lot of folks, but it's always, just from being a writer, it's always like, oh man, it's so weird. It's like walking out in the middle of a movie. You never really get to see the change, and ultimately the point of what we're talking about. That's that all four of these guys in the game, all these characters, when they're essentially clinging to the one thing that doesn't really matter, their nation of origin, it destroys them, and they're all pretty stupid for doing it, And I think, I guess, like, maybe that's, I don't know. It was naive of me to think that, like, we would get like that kind of review, or like people would really look into either, like, I don't know, subtext or something like that. Because again, how is that possible when there's a billion games that all need to be reviewed, and we're just one of thousands of indie games? So it's been a really interesting experience for me, just as a writer and as a game developer, to see that and see how this content gets out there and how people react to it. And it's definitely going to inform the next game we make, because I think it's tough. It's tough to get out there and have to inject like a lot of themes into a story and expect, I guess, a lot of like critical analysis, because it's just like, I guess the industry just doesn't have the bandwidth for that right now. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things I think Joe fully expected me to rip on the game harder than I did. Like he even messaged me after the review. He's like, I thought you were gearing up. And I was like, no, because I understood a lot of where you were trying to go, even if I didn't necessarily find humor in the path.
Gotcha.
You know, like I said, I picked up that, you know, the whole satire of American exceptionalism and all that, and I got it, even if there were moments where I was like, you know, let's not.
Totally.
But that's a personal thing. That's a me thing, and I don't think I didn't think that should have a negative impact. As a reviewer, I want to say this was my experience, but I also don't think that my personal experience should always overtake the value of a game, because, like you said, I can't get through every one of them every time.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the other thing you did mention, though, and I was happy to hear, is like, as we're saying, you know, the story is only a 50% of the equation, and I've read this in a few other reviews that's like, hey, I'm not into the story, but that aside, there's a pretty good gameplay loop in here.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun just blasting through shit. Like, I can very easily press A very quick, and I speed read. Me and Joe were just talking about this before the interview because we made a comment.
We fucked up on the review with the voiceovers. We thought that they were only partially voiced, when in reality we hit A to skip a line, and it just disables the voiceover for the rest of the cutscene, which we didn't realize.
Yeah,
so I'm a notorious speed reader, and
so you're like way ahead of the dialogue. You're
yeah,
like, okay,
and
next,
it frustrates me to hear something after I've already read it. Right. It just throws me back. So I was just like, hey, because I've read it. Let's go. Move. Go. Get out of here. And then Joe mentioned that. I was like, oh, it did do that. And then I was like, well, shit. I was speed reading it anyway. What did I care?
Yeah, because I think it was one of the other reviews that was like, wow, you know, this story is really crazy. And I'm surprised, like, it's crazy that these actors like were so into it. And I'm like, you know, these are some of the top actors in their profession, but they're not robots, you know, like Nolan North isn't going to just read anything that you throw in front of him. Like there is a lot of back and forth that happens in the booth, because I think so much of, you know, humor is like tone and making sure that it's not, you know, punching down or like mean-spirited, you know, like we want to be able to have our fun making fun of everything and everyone, because, you know, I think Joe, what did you say? Like, this game is just a big fuck you to everything in the world.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and I'm just like, he gets me, man. They understand me. That's how I feel. But, you know, there is like a back and forth, and these guys would never read something that they didn't fully understand or, you know, agree with. And then, you know, just like the last thought I had, you know, I was just thinking about this stuff after listening to the review is, I guess the question is like, you know, if Cigar is a bad person, he's a bad guy in the game. He says and he does bad things. I don't know. I mean, to me, I guess I never thought that meant that our game in general was like endorsing those things. You know, like, can you have a bad character, a character that is pretty much without redemption, without kind of like, I don't know, indicting the whole game? You know, like when does, and I guess maybe with comedy, you do hit that line where like once you cross that line for someone, you're beyond the point of, you know, no return, where it's like, okay, I'm out. I don't want to deal with this. But I don't know. I guess I never felt that we hit that line, but you know, it's open for interpretation, and it should be.
I think for me, and looking at it from a reviewer standpoint, like I said, on a personal note, I got where you guys were going, but from a reviewing standpoint, I'm looking at you know, the character and going, okay, he's obviously bad to me, but are people going to look at his behavior and see it as an endorsement of good behavior? And that's where I struggle with it. Like, are people going to see the language he uses, see the things he says and does, and go, well, shit, I don't see what's wrong with that, you know? And then that's where I'm like, you know, that's where I'm clutching my pearls, you know, because I don't want to see, I don't want to see bad ideas like that be taken as good. But also, I don't necessarily think that you shouldn't have that in a game, but when it's, people don't get satire. A lot of people just don't get satire.
Yeah, there's people who will probably...
so that's more where I'm just like, if it weren't so satirical, I would probably be a little more lenient, but people are dumb.
Yeah, there's...
No.
I'm surrounded by them.
We're seeing it go on now with people who are being incredibly racist against Chinese people and Asian people in general because of the virus going on. And that's why when we played the game and we saw that the Chinese were mentioned, it was just like, wow, the timing on this is just really unfortunate. Have you seen any kind of blowback because of the virus situation going on with the game? Or are enough people out there who are playing the game smart enough to see that it's satire and they're not like, yeah, there's fucking Chinese?
No, not at all. I mean, honestly, even when the game came out last September, I was expecting some confrontation, someone to maybe take up arms with the game or say, hey, I got a real beef with this and I want to dig into it. Nothing. Everyone was like, yeah, it's, you know, I think it reads with most people. But yeah, I mean, this time around, I mean, we've only released on Tuesday, so it's been about 2 days or so, but none of the reviews have really honed in. I think there was one actually that said, you know, in the context of this world that we're living in now, where I'm kind of like isolated and I'm playing this game while I'm writing this review, it was refreshing because it was a very escapist, dumb thing to focus on, and I didn't have to think about the big, you know, the doomsday that's standing right outside your front door. No. But no one really ever made the connection between, like, you know, the coronavirus and the Chinese in the game, or... Well,
that is a very good thing.
Yeah,
that's what we were worried about.
Because I laughed at that part, I'm not going to lie. I thought the whole Chinese terrorists on the moon was funny. I did worry about the timing.
Yeah, I think one of the first... you know, our team is made up of, you know, everyone, all different walks of life. We got a very diverse, very cool team, all normal folks, very progressive. You know, we're human beings. We're just regular guys and girls making a game. So I feel like by the time we got to the point of release, it had been through a lot of different hands. It wasn't like, you know, here's a little thing I'm kind of scribbling away that's going to get shot out into the universe without any feedback. And there were some things that we wanted to put in the game that internally we said, no, this is not right, or no, this doesn't feel good. We're not going to do this. But yeah, one of the first moments, I guess, was when we were showing off at PAX East, and there was a group of kids. I think there's a few Korean kids, a few Chinese kids. You know, we're talking to them. They're like, "Oh, this is cool." They go up to the game, and then they see the line, you know, Chinese terrorists, and I was just like, "How is this going to play? Are they going to like be really pissed off?" And they busted up laughing, and I was just like. Yeah, because people like jokes, man. It's cool, you know, but it's not. I mean, the fact that they laugh doesn't make it universally okay. And if they hated it, it wouldn't be a universal rejection of the humor. It's just like in those moments, I guess I would rather this be a positive thing for people. You know, that if you want a game that has a lot of comedy in it and you're looking for something that's maybe a little South Park, I'm hoping we can kind of scratch that itch for you. But if you're looking for something that is not going to maybe push your buttons. Maybe I don't know, Minecraft or something more mellow. Just chill.
At least you didn't tell me to go play Barbie.
Animal Crossing. That's
Animal Crossing, which is really going to save us all.
I'm the only one who hasn't played Animal Crossing.
That's going to be the game that gets us
because I'm out here playing Freedom Finger.
You're playing 2 Point Hospital. Don't lie.
I have not played 2 Point Hospital. I made my ass delete it. Twice, because I installed it on the Xbox and my computer, and I had to delete it off of both. I lied 3 times. Really good? Yeah. I had to delete it off of my old computer and the new one because I downloaded it on the new one to see how it would play, and then I had to delete it.
That sounds like with Civilization. Like I can't have access to that game if I have anything.
Tropico 6 was like that.
Yeah.
And Frostpunk and Surviving Mars. Are you picking up a theme here? I have problems.
She does.
They involve micromanagement.
So yeah, Freedom Finger 2 is going to be a micromanagement sim. And then Cole's going to love it.
A game with no story. It's just going to be a blinking dot in the middle of the screen. It's called Dot.
No, seizure warning.
Dot. Freedom Finger 2. Dot.
Played a game like that earlier this year.
Is there any thought of a sequel, or are you looking into a new game, or are you just enjoying what's going on with Freedom Finger right now?
I think, myself and the lead programmer, Mark Zorn, have started talking about, we have a few kind of like rough sketches of games, and I think the biggest lesson or my takeaway from this was I really bit off maybe more than I can chew, trying to service, the story and then the music and then the 40 levels. I think someone told me, they're like, most arcade shmups have like 12 levels. Like, why did you feel the need to do 40? And I didn't have an answer. I was just like, there's just a lot of good music that I liked. I just kept going, but I probably would have been better off either, just doing maybe 20, maybe, like cutting it in half. So yeah, the next game will definitely be smaller in scope, but I think the things that we love about this game, the art, the music, the vibe, I think those are things we want to keep moving forward into whatever projects we happen to do. I'd love to do one with my business partner, the guy I work with a lot in film and television, Jay Howell, who he designed all the original, all the characters on Bob's Burgers. So that kind of style. Yeah. We worked together on our show, Sanjay and Craig, and I've been working with that guy for, I don't know, too long. It's been way too long. I've been working with him since 2006, I think.
Wow.
So yeah, we've been going a while, but I definitely want to do a game with him. And once Travis recovers, maybe I can get one more game out of him. So maybe the Freedom Finger sequel. It'll be the project that breaks him, but we'll get it done.
It's okay. You can just get another artist on Fiverr.
Yeah.
I just cringed all over myself letting that sentence fall out of my mouth.
Just farm it out.
Just get Cole to draw middle fingers. She draws dicks all the time.
I do. So. Can we just find the humor in the fact that I didn't like the humor in Freedom Finger, but I have made a living drawing dicks? It's there.
It's funny. Wasn't there... didn't Devolver do like a bootleg?
Yes.
Yeah, they did like a bootleg thing, right? Where they had people kind of make like knockoff versions of their game.
Yeah.
I'd love to do that.
It's on PC only though. We didn't get it on Xbox because we're unloved, especially by Devolver Digital. We're unloved.
Oh, Devolver. They've been bringing more to Xbox lately, but yeah, we like our Xboxes on SML.
I gotta say, developing for Xbox, and every platform has its own strengths and weaknesses. There's challenges in the process and the technology across the board, but man, Xbox, they're certainly making it really, really easy for anyone to develop games for their platform. I mean, just I would say anyone who's on the fence, any developer, if you're doing a game for Steam or Switch, or maybe you're just trying to target PlayStation and you're going after user base, going after the big numbers, definitely look into the ID at Xbox program, because it's phenomenal. It's just really great people, super supportive. They gave us a decent amount of marketing and good placement, on launch day on the Dash, and they're just awesome. It was one of the better experiences we've had in terms of dealing with like the business and marketing end of the game as a whole. So yeah, we will definitely, whatever we're doing in the future, you can guarantee that Xbox is going to be a part of that. So
sweet.
Yeah,
that is definitely good to hear. We are happy to hear that.
Yes. I will give you a bonus half point on your review score that I didn't give because I don't do scores.
Because we don't do scores.
Which I also appreciate. That's so cool, because it's just like, rather than scrolling immediately down to the bottom of the article, it's like, or, where's the score? What did they post it? It's like, maybe just listen, take it in.
That's why we do it the way we do it. Numbers, people, if they see a number, they just focus on the number and that's it. But when you hear us talking and explaining our experience through the game and whether it's worth trying, buying, or just ignoring completely, we try to be more than just a number.
Yeah, and
I don't.
I'm just phoning it in,
Yeah.
No, I think that's been one of the other, coming from like independent filmmaking and animation, is seeing the counterpart to independent development is kind of like indie game press and the podcast, the video reviews, the news sites, streamers, things like that. And yeah, when you find someone who puts as much care and craft into what they're doing, I don't know, it's been really cool. I didn't know there was that much or that many great producers of like content out there, and that's been one of the best parts about making an indie game, is kind of finding like-minded people who are going all in on what they're doing. And then you have the guys that are just sending you an email that's like, give code.
Yeah.
And you're like, what?
We know all about them folks.
who are you with? What's your site? And then the next email just says, give. Like, okay.
See, I try to be a lot more personable with my emails. I handwrite everything. I don't use a form. I manually type out all of my emails. I like to have that personal touch.
It's with the ink and a quill. Actually, I got a letter in the mail.
Perfume scent, perfume sprayed on it.
See, if I wrote the emails, then like it actually would be written with ink and a brush, and that's how I do shit.
She'll paint you a letter and mail
art
it.
Nerd.
It'll take us forever to get codes.
Yeah, because I'm arthritic, so it takes me like a week to write something. Sure, but but it'll look lovely when it gets there. I've been trying to find a way to balance out my gaming and my art life. Okay, somewhere we got to give.
All right, you're in charge of doing requests from now on. You're going to paint requests and ink everyone. Yes.
Yeah, just send developers like an abstract painting that they have to kind of interpret what the meaning is. What are they asking me? How does this affect my life and my world?
I can't do abstract. I can just do dick. Yeah.
Be the Georgia O'Keeffe of dicks,
I'm just here for the weenies.
Oh my Lord. So, soundtrack in the game is incredible. How did you get so many artists together on this soundtrack?
Money.
Okay.
We had to pay a lot of people. But no, a lot of it was just like, my background doing music videos and doing some commercial work for a lot of the labels. So I kind of, a guy, someone who can kind of hook you up with their licensing department. And it was grueling, because it's a creative business and legal kind of negotiation, what you want, how you're going to use it, how it's going to be used, and for how long, and in what territories. And we were really fortunate that a lot of the music supervisors on the other side understood that we didn't, we weren't Electronic Arts, we weren't a AAA studio, and they gave us I'd like to think a pretty good deal on the volume of music that we have in the game. And most recently, we teamed up with Aesop Rock to, and this most recent update in the PlayStation and Xbox ports have it, but he made 3 songs, 3 original songs, music just for the game.
That is so cool.
Yeah, we're going to be releasing that. That'll be sold on Steam, so you can get the bundle with the music, soundtrack, and the game. But then his label is also putting out a vinyl with, for all the vinyl nerds out there, so you can actually like own the physical of it. And that was probably the coolest thing we did, I think, music-wise, was beyond the different types of music that we have in the game, having 3 original songs all kind of written about the game in certain ways, like the lyrics, and we sampled some of Nolan and Sam's dialogue and like cut it in there. It was really cool to see, and I think those 3 levels are probably the most connected to the music in the game. They feel like our proof of concept really paid off in those new levels with Aesop. But it took a long time, to negotiate, and it took wasn't exactly cheap, but it's a big part of what the game is, being music driven, having what's happening on the screen respond and kind of interact to the beat was something that we hadn't seen a lot of in this space. And yeah, I think we pulled it off. I think it works.
It works really well. As someone who enjoys rhythm games, having, shooting to the music just felt good. And
yeah, there's our level designer, Wayne Kubiak, who's a super talented artist and game designer in his own right. He did the majority of the level design, and some of the things he pulled off, some of the moments in there were like, the beat drops, everything freezes in place, like all the bullets, and you're just like, oh, just waiting for the guitars to come back in. Like those little moments, I just, first time I played it, I was like screaming, because it's just so much fun.
Oh man. Well, I know we've been chatting for quite a while. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about with the game that we didn't bring up?
No, I think we hit all the main points. It's it's on sale. I guess I can do the sales pitch. It's on all
give us
platforms.
The sales pitch. Where can we find the game? How much is it? Where can we find more about you?
Yeah, so we are Wide Right Games on all platforms, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. The game is everywhere: Steam, Switch, Xbox, PlayStation 4. And yeah, I think selling for $14.99, a very modest $14.99. And that goes to, support our small studio and our small team. And yeah, if you've checked out the game, we really appreciate it. We know that there's a billion games today and tomorrow for you to play. And anyone that's been, retweeting us and just helping us get the word out there, we can't thank you guys enough. Yourselves included. Thanks for the opportunity to come on and have a chat about it,
Well, thank you for joining us. It has been a pleasure. You're fun to chat with. You'll have to come back on whenever your next game is ready to go. We would love to have you back.
Yeah, let's do it.
Absolutely. We will plan that. So if the show doesn't end with this episode, if I'm still alive, we'll plan for a return trip sometime.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
Oh, man. All right. Well, everyone else, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with more show. Jim, do you have any final words to end the interview?
Wash your hands, folks. Stay safe out there. Wash those middle fingers.
Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for keeping us company. Thanks again to Jim for coming on and chatting with us. That was fun.
He's such a lovely fellow.
I know. And he took the worries about the storyline in stride, answered all our questions. Good guy. Good chat. Great game. Go pick it up. It's fun. And it's a good release from these crazy times that we are in right now. Yeah.
I started to say something and I got choked. I'm sorry.
What were you going to say?
You ever get choked on air?
Yeah.
I completely lost my train of thought because I just went and lost it. Oh boy.
Proud of you.
It's been a rough week. I don't see it getting any better.
It's been a rough 2 weeks, really.
It has. You know what I'm looking forward to, Joe?
Huh.
My kids, although they have been out of school for the last 2 weeks, we've been doing homeschooling. But next week is spring break. And even though we're still quarantined like fuck and we ain't going nowhere or doing nothing, we don't have to do homeschooling for the week. No lessons, no classes, no homework. And so for the first time in 13, 14, somewhat like 16 days or something like that, I won't have the stress of having to yell at my kids to do their work. And I'm so looking forward to it because it's my days are just jam-packed with shit to do right now. Like I get up in the morning and then it's like, okay, brush your teeth, get dressed because you still want some kind of normalcy. Y'all can't sit in your pajamas until, like 4 days later when I realize you're still wearing the same pajamas. So, get up, get dressed, have breakfast, brush your teeth, do your hair, do your classwork. And then it's like, we've been trying to fit in, like the PE teacher just puts for their assignments, like do 30 minutes of exercise. Mm-hmm. So it's like, if I tell them to do that, they're going to be like, yeah, cool, I'm going to go play Switch. My kids are lazy like me.
You could pick up Ring Fit Adventure. That's physical.
That's expensive, though.
$80.
It's expensive, though.
Yeah, it is.
That's like an eighth of my monthly income right now. All of my art shit's canceled. I can't buy anything. I can't do anything.
Well, when you get your virus check in the mail, you could pick up Ring Fit Adventure. I
can't wait for them to tell me I don't qualify for one. But yeah, so like they've been doing yoga in the living room in the middle of the day, and then I try to fit in some art because I don't get shit for art education in redneck land. So it's like, okay, we gotta teach you how to actually paint with not Crayola because that stuff's garbage.
No.
And then like by the time we're done with that, then it's lunchtime, and then time we're done with that, we gotta finish up the last of the classes, and then we get done with that, and then the zoo has been doing like these home safaris. Number 3 has not let me miss a day yet. I've clearly made a trip to the zoo every day for the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, it's a good place to be.
It's been fun, but it's also really exhausting when you're trying to get shit done and she's like, it's 3 o'clock. And I'm like, fucking wish you hadn't learned to tell time. Because I could just be like, oh, you can watch it anytime on YouTube. She's like, no, we got to watch it live on Facebook right now. Yeah, sit down.
Oh, boy.
It's been a struggle.
It's been a struggle for everyone. It's so weird, like going through my emails, and when I'm emailing people about, hey, our review's ready, it's like I emailed them before the whole lockdown stuff started, and now it's like a whole different world. Like with Jim, I messaged him on last night to make sure that things were still good for today, and I'm like, hey, I know it's been a crazy 2 weeks. Oh my God, it's only been 2 weeks.
Yeah, it feels like it's been forever.
It feels like this is our new way of life now. It is
basically. I have to say though, like, have you seen the Governor Bashir memes?
No.
Okay. Kentucky's governor does a video conference, like a video Facebook Live thing every day at 5. Every single day at 5. He gets up there and he always says the same things. Like, he's doing a fantastic job, don't get me wrong. But, like, he says all the same things. And then he goes in and tells us how many new cases there's been in the state and, you know, if there's been any deaths or anything like that. But, like, it's turned into a meme because it's so consistent that there's literally a whole Facebook group of Andy Bashir memes. And it's called the Andy Bashir Memes for Social Distancing Teens.
Oh, God.
Although I'm not entirely convinced everybody there is a teen, because there are a lot of older ladies who are like thirsting after Andy Bashir. But the memes are hilarious because it'll be like Kermit tucking in another little plushie and like patting it on the head, and it'll be like, this is Andy Bashir for Kermit and this is Kentucky, because he is doing such a good job, but it's a joke. But my favorite one is the one that says there's 3 things that Kentuckians are sure of every day, and it's that 1, we'll get through this together, because that's what he always says. 2, Governor Andy will be live at 5, and 3, Kenneth will always be late with the graphic. Because there's a guy off screen who handles all the slides, and his name is Kenneth. And Governor Bashir's always asking him to put up the charts or the graph or the video, and he either A, just doesn't have it, or he's late with it. And it's hilarious every time, because and the funnier part is, like, now they're aware of the memes.
Oh boy.
And so, like, today, you know, they're trying to be all serious, and he's like, I need you to play, Kenneth, I need you to bring up this video. Kenneth's like, I don't have the video. And Bashir just immediately starts smirking and looks at the ground, and he's like, he just knows. He knows that's a meme later. No, I think that might be even better than the memes have tickled me, but their self-awareness of the memes has just cranked it to 11.
No, boy.
Yeah. Gotta have a little bit of happy in these horrible times.
Yeah. And video games are trying to keep us happy. Nintendo had a new Direct today, a Direct Mini. A lot of information came out. A lot of games were revealed for the Switch coming out. They opened up the Direct with a new trailer for Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. They announced that it's going to have Xenoblade Future Chronicles, an epilogue to the game included, and that's releasing May 29th. So I am very excited about that. And May 29th is looking to be a huge day for the Switch, because 2K is going to be bringing a heap of games to the Switch on May 29th with BioShock the Collection. So all 3 BioShock games.
Yes.
Borderlands Legendary Collection. So all 3 Borderlands games, or the first 3 Borderlands games, not Borderlands 3. And then the XCOM 2 collection, all releasing May 29th on the Switch.
That is a rough day for people's wallets.
Yes. And it's a good thing that we don't cover 2K games, because we would be fucked.
Woo!
They showed off a new trailer for the Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 expansion pass, which showed off the Fantastic Four. That all that stuff is available now. They showed a trailer for a game called Shinsekai Into the Depths from Capcom, an undersea exploration game that is available now as well. They showed some information on Animal Crossing New Horizons. There's going to be an Easter event from April 1st through the 12th, where you could visit the Easter Bunny and find eggs and craft new egg furniture.
Well then.
Yeah. And then later in April, they're going to add some new features and an Earth Day event.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That might be the only way we get to experience events for a while, so
yeah,
that's
probably.
Nice.
Probably. They showed a trailer for a game called Good Job, which is available now. They announced Catherine Full Body is coming to the Switch July 7th. Still no Xbox release for Catherine Full Body, which is bullshit because we had Catherine on the 360. But we can't get it on the Xbox One. So thanks, Atlas.
It is backward compatible, too, because I remember I bought it once it went backward compatible. It was on sale for like $1.50. I still haven't played it. I purposely bought it and still haven't played it.
I haven't played it either. I have the collector's edition from the 360, and I've never fucking played it. And I like how Root Beer is my jam said, haha, Joe, like you have time to play a Xenoblade game. Very true.
We have all been outed.
Yeah. Ring Fit Adventure has a new update available now with a rhythm game mode, including 17 songs from like Mario Odyssey, Splatoon, Breath of the Wild.
What game is this?
Ring Fit Adventure.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they added a female voice option for the ring and a language option. And then they have a jogging option with no need to do battles. I don't know what that means, because I don't have Ring Fit Adventure.
There's battles?
Hey, Zach Lyons is in chat. Zach, how are you doing, man? Good stuff. How are you doing? King's Bounty 2, a trailer was showed off for 2020. They announced a new Smash Brothers character is going to be announced in June from the game ARMS. They didn't specify which character, so people are wondering if they're going to have multiple characters, so we'll find out. Bravely Default 2 was confirmed for a 2020 release with a demo version available now. So you can grab a demo and give feedback in Bravely Default 2. I'm excited for that one, which I don't have time for either.
Yeah.
Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classics is coming June 5th. That's going to have 51 different tabletop style games like Checkers, Mancala, Klondike, Solitaire, stuff like that. That should be a fun one. I enjoyed Clubhouse Games on the DS when that came out.
Never hurts to have classic games like that.
Indeed. Showed a trailer for a game called Ninjala, which is releasing May 27th. And then trailers for some Star Wars games. Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy is releasing today on the Switch, March 26th. And then, it's also on the PS4 as well. No Xbox release. What the fuck?
Color me surprised.
Same thing with Star Wars Racer, Episode 1 Racer, which is getting a Switch and PS4 release, but no Xbox release.
I don't get it.
Me neither.
Oh, excuse me. I don't get it. I don't know. I can't bitch about it anymore because I just flat out don't get it. I've said it all.
I know. I don't get it. I don't get it. Panzer Dragoon Remake launched today on the Switch.
Oh, it launched today?
Yeah.
I saw the announcement. I didn't realize it was out.
Yep, it launched today on the Switch.
Okay.
Timed exclusive. It will be coming to other platforms in the future. Not sure when or what platforms. Hopefully everything. But that is available now, and we'll have a review coming soon. I'm excited about that one.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's nice. Excuse me, I don't know why I've got the yawns. I've yawned like 4 times in the last 3 minutes.
I'm boring. I know. I get it.
No, I think my drugs kicked in.
Oh, boy.
My bad.
They showed a montage of games coming to the Switch. Trials of Mana, April 24th. Fuser from Harmonix in the fall. The Elder Scrolls Blades in spring.
Oh.
Warhammer 40k Mechanicus will be launching in May. Vigor will be getting a closed beta April 9th on the Switch.
Okay.
Burnout Paradise Remastered is coming to the Switch sometime in 2020.
Okay.
So I'm excited about that one. Burnout Paradise on the road? Hell yeah. So I could ram cars off the road while I ram cars off the road.
All right, Exhibit, calm down.
Saints Row 4 Re-Elected is coming out tomorrow.
Wait, really?
Yeah, Saints Row 4 Re-Elected hitting the Switch tomorrow, March 27th.
Out of nowhere, man.
That's pretty exciting.
Is it out of nowhere, or am I just oblivious?
I think it's kind of out of nowhere. I knew it was coming, but I didn't know it would be this soon.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's cool. The Legend of Heroes Trails of Cold Steel 3 is coming June 30th. Mr. Driller Drill Land is coming June 25th. And then they showed Minecraft Dungeons, which is launching this spring. I know it was originally scheduled for an April release, but that might not be happening now.
Yeah, they're still shooting for it, but it's a little in the air.
Yeah.
A lot of shit can happen in 34 days.
Definitely.
So
a lot of shit happened in 2 weeks. So
yeah, as we have learned, the whole world could be in flames at that point. I mean, who the fuck knows?
Yeah. And then finally, they showed off some new information on the Pokemon Sword and Shield expansion pass. They showed new areas. The Armor of Isle will be out in June, and the Crown Tundra will be out in the fall. A legendary Kubfu that evolves into Urshifu by going to the Tower of Two Fists.
Okay.
The friggin' names of these characters. Gigantamax forms of Gen 8 starter Pokemon, new outfits, and a higher chance of Gigantamax Copperaja, Duraludon, Garbodor, and Charizard. A new Charizard, at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
The rest of them, I don't fucking
Look, my kids have been walking around the last 2 weeks spewing Pokemon names left, right, and center. And for all I know, they're fucking cussing me out in another language.
Probably.
It's all the same in my book.
Yeah. Yeah. Some more news. PlayStation Plus titles for April were leaked this week. Apparently, someone at Sony put the YouTube video live ahead of time.
Okay.
And the two titles coming to PS4 in April are Dirt Rally 2.0 and Uncharted 4.
Oh.
That's a hell of a lineup.
Yeah, that's pretty couple of big titles. Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, the drugs have kicked in. That's a couple of pretty big titles. Boy.
Dark Mika was asking if we saw the games with gold news. I did not see any games with gold news. She said that she saw an image on Twitter showing Anthem, Kingdoms of Amalur, and Lost Planet, but I have not seen that, so I don't know how accurate it is.
Yeah. Well, hold up. Let me see. This is not from Xbox, so. But I do see the image she's talking about.
Well, what's everything on it? Because I don't have the image.
Everything on it is Anthem, Unruly Heroes, Lost Planet 2. Is that it? Yeah, it looks like Lost Planet 2. And Kingdom of Amalur, Reckoning. Yeah.
If that is true, that's a hell of a lineup as well.
I'm a little iffy on it though, because it doesn't look like it does and doesn't look like a normal Games with Gold.
Yeah, and those are faked every month. So
yeah. So that's
until it comes from Xbox, I don't believe it.
Yeah. I'm a little surprised they haven't announced it yet, to be honest.
I'm sure they'll announce it tomorrow and we'll just look like assholes for missing out on the news.
Most likely.
Yeah.
That's okay. We can amend it. We can amend it when we do the reviews that we're about to do immediately after we do the news, because we don't edit anything on this show. Nothing's
edited. All live, one take. Good stuff. The Xbox Series X graphics source code has reportedly been stolen. Have you heard about this?
No, wait, what was it?
The source code for the Xbox Series X graphics.
Wow.
Yeah. And the hacker is demanding $100 million or she will release it.
Well.
Yeah. I don't see Microsoft giving in. Apparently, this person uploaded it to GitHub already, and Microsoft just deleted it because they own GitHub.
Well, because they own GitHub, yeah.
So that was a smart move for them to do.
And now all of a sudden, everybody was like, why would they buy GitHub? Well, here you go. That was money well spent in their book.
Yeah. So we'll see if anything happens with this whole ransom notice or what's going on. And then there's also news that apparently the Series X will not have Bluetooth support.
No, because they've made a whole big fuss about how all the your old stuff is going to work because of Bluetooth. That doesn't make a lick of sense. That's the most backward ass thing.
Well, Microsoft uses their own proprietary wireless format anyway. They don't use Bluetooth. I mean, the new controllers support Bluetooth to use on computers, but the Xbox One doesn't have Bluetooth. So I don't see a big difference there at all.
I don't think that that's something they're going to do. Not even remotely.
I don't know. The Nintendo Switch has been selling out nationwide with the ongoing viral outbreak. So it looks like people are taking up video games in their spare time.
Good.
I agree. It's good to see more people gaming. This could be both a great time and a horrible time for video games.
Since I mentioned memes earlier, I saw one the other day that said that in 25 years we're going to be buying American Girl dolls that survived the coronavirus, and like their accessories are going to be a little plastic Nintendo Switch
and a gas mask.
Yeah.
I'm dying over here. Sorry.
Yep. Please keep that shit to yourself.
I will. I'm trying.
Hold on. Let me get one of my face masks and put it over the microphone just to be safe.
Ha.
There, are we good now?
This should be exciting news for you. Someone found a South Korean game rating for Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 Campaign Remastered.
Fuck yeah. Oh, that was my shit. I loved it so hard.
Well, it looks like it's coming back, so.
Good. It's about goddamn time. It took them long enough. I can't wait for them to bundle it with a garbage game like Infinite Warfare. Be like, buy Infinite Warfare 2 and get Modern Warfare 2 remastered, and we will never fucking sell it individually until like 8 months later because it bombs.
Come on, everyone knew they were going to sell it separately.
Yep.
Yeah, and they'll do the same thing with this one.
I know, that's why it's funny, because it's true.
Some bad Nintendo news. Nintendo has closed all of their North American repair centers until further notice due to the coronavirus, so you better hope your system doesn't break anytime soon. Or you could just go buy another one, except they're all sold out.
Problems. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense for it to be closed, so.
Yeah.
Close that shit. If I can close my little bitty store, anybody can close anything.
Yeah, I don't see Switch repairs being an essential business right now.
No. Nope.
Warner Brothers sent out an email about the DLC characters in Mortal Kombat 11 with Spawn going live, and the copyright text at the bottom mentions Ash from the Evil Dead series.
Oh.
Yeah.
Boy, people are eagle-eyed. Nothing gets missed.
Hey, it's in the legal text. It's like Ash's registered trademark of whoever. This isn't the first time Ash has been leaked. Apparently, a long time ago, someone did some digging in the source code for the game and found Ash mentioned. And then when the Joker released, there was a picture that showed up in game that showed Ash. So it looks like a second combat pass is going to be on the horizon.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Last bit of news I have is that Epic announced a new multi-platform publishing deal with 3 companies this week. Remedy, who we know for Control, Playdead, who we know for Inside and Limbo, and Design, who made The Last Guardian.
Oh, that's what they made.
Yeah. So that should be really interesting.
I was trying so hard to figure out. I was like, okay, I know 2 of them, but who the fuck's this other? That explains why I didn't know who they were.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, Epic is doing some more publishing. They're going to have 100% of the IP remains with the studio. They're going to cover 100% of the costs, and then Once the publishing or the production costs are recouped, they will get 50-50 profit sharing.
I have heard people say that this is a really good deal for these 3 studios.
I'm sure it is. They're going to be bankrolled. They're going to be fully I can't think of the word, fully funded by Epic, and I'm sure they're going to be exclusive to the Epic Game Store, obviously.
I don't know. It's not like Epic doesn't release anything else elsewhere. Maybe I would say they probably wouldn't be on Steam or Windows 10, but...
Yeah, that's what I mean. I'm sure they'll show up. It's a new multi-platform deal. So it's going to be on all platforms, just PC-wise. It'll probably be exclusive to Epic Game Store.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the news I got. Anything you want to talk about?
We didn't die this week, Joe.
Yeah, I know. That's good news.
Yeah. Let's try not to die next week, too.
Yeah, we'll give it a shot. But you ready to dive into reviews?
Yep.
First game to talk about tonight is called Gigantosaurus, the game developed by WildSphere, published by Outright Games. It released March 27th on Xbox One, Switch, and PS4 for $39.99. The most exciting episode of Gigantosaurus yet is the one you get to play in. But will you be the most roarsome explorer or the fastest racer? Play together with friends and family to help Rocky, Timmy, Mazu, and Bill save the day before dino dashing to the next zone. Dinosaurs have never had such giant fun. Cole, tell us about Gigantosaurus, the game.
What a stinking adorable game.
It is.
I didn't even know that this was a show on Disney Junior because my kids are in school, so we don't watch Disney Junior anymore. And I was completely oblivious that Gigantosaurus even existed because it's absolutely something that number 3 would be gobbling up. She loves anything with adorable dinosaurs.
Well, here you go. Did she enjoy the game?
She did. And it's basically a 3D platformer and like collectathon kind of game.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was perfectly fine for her to just like run around, look for seeds, try to get the eggs back from the raptors, which is pretty much your primary goal, and switch between the dinosaurs kind of dynamically to be whichever one that you needed. She played it alone a lot. Her sisters are much older, so they were not as interested, but she spent quite a bit of time with it, and I was really surprised because open world type platform, 3D platform like that's not something she usually would gravitate toward, but she was very into it, and she had a lot of good good time spent into it that she enjoyed. There was one complaint on my end. I don't think she noticed because, again, she doesn't play these kind of platformers often, but there's no camera control. I think for little kids who maybe can't handle the dialogue or the dialogue sticks, boy.
I'm pretty sure there is camera control.
I could not control the camera.
I'm gonna fire up the game now and check because I'm pretty sure I was able to control the camera.
Were you playing on with easy mode on? Because I just was picked up in her game and took it when she lost interest and kept going with it.
That might be
and it might be that
I played it on normal.
Yeah. Which, like I said, for little kids who can't control both analog sticks, that's great. But if it's a thing overall, that's different.
Yeah, I'm firing up the game now to check. Before we get into any more complaints, how about you tell us about the game?
I did. You have the dinosaurs and you go around and you get the eggs.
I thought there would be more to that, like explaining the gameplay and explaining.
It's a 3D platform. It's a game meant for kids. There's not a whole lot super involved. There's different dinosaurs that you can choose from, and they have different abilities. One of them, for example, is a Triceratops that you can use to hit things, and it's great to like knock logs over like ravines and waterfalls and things like that, so that you go across. There is some combat. You can kind of get away without engaging in it for the most part.
Yeah.
Because again, kids game. But it's the premise is raptors are stolen the dinosaur eggs and you've got to go and save them. You collect seeds. You can change the landscape by planting seeds and growing trees. There's flowers that you can bounce around on. It's not overwhelmingly involved. There are a lot of sections to the game. It is a large game. I was impressed with how large it actually is. but it's not a complicated game. It's very easy for little kids to play. It's definitely aimed at that age group.
Mm-hmm.
Adults are just going to be like, this is a game. Okay, bye.
See, I can disagree a little bit because I legitimately had a lot of fun with this game. It might not be something I normally would have picked up on my own, but having the chance to review it and play it, I legitimately enjoyed my time with it.
That's good though.
And I will say this, you can control the camera, so it might be on easy mode. They just take away camera control to make it easier. Yeah,
because we had it turned to easy mode for her. And I just assumed that it would be that way on every difficulty because that seemed kind of odd. But and at least on easy mode, that's a good thing for little kids that can't control both at the same time or are just learning to use the controller. So that's not a bad idea. And if you can play with it on normal, play with it on normal.
I wonder what other differences there are between easy and normal now.
I don't know. Now I'm super curious.
We're bad reviewers.
Yeah. Well, I didn't think. I just kind of assumed. It's not.
I've never seen a feature like that has been like gated behind a difficulty. So it's not something you would normally expect to see. Normally the difficulty is just, enemies are easier to kill, which there really aren't many in the game. There's fish that you could hit and giant plants that'll bite at you, but there's very little penalty in the game. And
those were there in easy mode as well. So I didn't think of anything of it that the camera would be locked to a difficulty. But
did you have a health bar in easy? Because I had 3 hearts.
Yeah, but you have 4. You can get hit 4 times.
I think it was 3 on normal.
I mean, again, it's not something that struck me as being difficulty locked. Still not a bad thing though. I think for little kids that would most likely be playing it on easy. Little kids and achievement hunters.
Yeah.
They just want the easy shit.
I do have one gripe with the game though. Backtracking.
There's a lot of backtracking.
I wish it was like in a Mario game where you finally complete all the platforming, the tricky sections, you do the jumps, you get to the final area, you pick up the egg and you collect the egg and it's all done.
Yeah.
Nope. In this one, you have to literally pick up the egg and carry it all the way back to the nest area. And you have to do it for all 10 eggs.
Yes.
And there's a lot. They're spread out around the map too. There's a lot of running around. Most of my time in the game was just running back and forth. And exploring. There was a lot of exploring to do. There, like you said, the worlds are huge. So there is a lot to do in them. It's just, I wish the backtracking wasn't there. I wish it was an instantaneous collection thing like in Mario.
Yeah.
That's literally my only gripe with the game. Otherwise, it looks beautiful. The voice acting is solid. The music is nice. It is an overall pleasing game and it's enjoyable and it's fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't even think I was bothered that much by the backtracking. From a kid's perspective, it kind of gives it a little bit of difficulty. A sense of urgency. Oh, I got to protect the egg. I can't, which was basically where number 3's mind was at. She was like, I just have to get the egg back. It'll be fine. And so, it gave him a little bit more, of a goal or a purpose as opposed to just get to it, Yeah. So I think for kids, that's probably not as big of an ordeal as adults who get bored with that kind of repetition very quickly.
Yeah.
So
I just worry a child might get bored as well. It's like, I don't want to run this back again.
I don't know. My kids are not good judges for things like that because they wouldn't tell me they were bored in the first place. I've never once heard the word bored come out of any of my kids' mouths. So it's not a thing we do here.
You keep their asses in line.
Yeah. Bored people are boring people, is what I've said before. And so it's not a thing that we hear from the kids very often. It's like they have plenty enough to entertain themselves. But I don't, at least as far as number 3 was concerned with her time with it, she was like, I'm going to go save this egg. Let's go. And she was all in on it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, she had a really good time.
Well, overall, $40 on this one. What do you say?
I get that people can look at it and go at the price tag because it's a kid's game and it looks cartoonish but it's clearly meant for kids. And I think that price point for the sheer amount of content that's there is justifiable. I think it's fine. It's a good. I am comfortable giving it a buy it for that.
I agree. I think the game's a lot of fun. Even if you're not a kid, you could still find a lot of fun in this game. Unless I'm just a big kid who loves kids games, which I do. Kids games are great palate cleansers.
I did play some of it because you can play up to 4-player local co-op. And so I played with it with number 3 a couple of times. And then number 1 also did as well, though she was not as amused. But teenagers, That's the nature of it.
I'm not blowing anything up, Mom.
Yeah, there's just not enough explosions. Didn't dinosaurs die to a meteor? Where's the meteors?
That is terrible.
Yeah. But, number 3, anything with dinosaurs is already like A+ in her book, so she didn't have any complaints.
Yeah. All right, well, next game to talk about is called Uno Flip, developed by Ubisoft Chengdu, published by Ubisoft, released March 17th as DLC for the game Uno for $4.99, also available in the Uno Ultimate Collection for $14.99, which includes deck themes for Winter, Just Dance, and Rayman. Match cards either by color or value to race against other players, spice things up with Flip DLC to rediscover the iconic game with a double-sided deck and new action cards that give to the classic gameplay an exciting twist. Cole, how is Uno Flip?
So it's Uno, buy it. Let's go. Next. Okay, so I guess I have to give it a little more. You got to
give a little more for Ubisoft here.
Can I point something really important out and just blow your mind here for a second?
Sure.
This game, Uno Flip, it has Kinect capability.
Really?
Yeah. It literally tells you can plug in your Kinect and use it as a video. Yeah, for video chat.
Awesome. Thank you, Ubisoft.
Also, maybe not awesome. I turned it off because I don't trust people. But it's there, and I was pleasantly surprised to see it. But I remember...
I'm going to turn that on immediately.
I remember Uno on the 360 and the guy who got mad that I beat him and he sent me a screenshot of his ass, pimples and all. So...
Uno's back, baby.
I don't need that kind of negativity in my life.
We're dealing with enough in these times.
It's already a hairy enough situation in the world today. But if you're okay with that and you have a Kinect, I'm curious because Xbox actually lets you plug in a normal webcam for streaming purposes. Mm-hmm. I don't have one though. So I couldn't try it out, but I'm curious if it can work with the Kinect, if it could also work with normal webcams.
I don't know.
It'd be something if anybody coughs up the $5 for it, wants to let me know. I'm on Twitter. Send me a message. I'd love to find out. Please don't include your dick in it. Just go ahead and put that one on the line.
Good disclaimer.
Yeah. If you send me a picture of your dick, I will probably turning it into a coloring page with like alien dongles and things. So, tread lightly. But if you are going to pick up Uno and you don't know what the fuck Uno is, if you're the one person in Antarctica who has never played Uno, it is a card game. 4 players. You can play it, every man for himself, or you can play it 2v2. I have never successfully played a Magic 2v2 Uno. It's just not how I learned to play the game, and so it fuzzles me, and I don't get it.
Really?
It's weird because I can't process it with Uno the way that I do. I play like spades and rook all the time. That's my shit. I'm pretty sure I got a college scholarship just because I played rook a whole lot. But
2v2 Uno is just Uno, but the person across from you is your teammate.
It's because the people across from me are randoms, and they were sabotaging me.
No,
I can't do it. They're trying to help their buddies, I guess. I don't know. But I got sabotaged. And I thought it was me being dumb. But I'm going to go with it was sabotage story to make myself feel better.
Probably.
I don't know. I can't get on board with 2v2. I just feel like it should be every man for himself, and I'm going to fuck your couch while I'm doing it. Horribly unfortunate for you, but I am good at Uno. So I made a lot of people quit. You can play online or you can play locally. I played quite a bit online. I will say I had a really hard time finding players for Uno Flip. And normally I would say, well, yeah, I play at like 5 a.m. No shit. But we're quarantined and I'm not up at 5 a.m. anymore unless I don't go to bed yet. And I was playing at normal daytime hours. I was really surprised that I was struggling to find Uno Flip matches.
Well, it is brand new DLC, so
yeah, but I was able to find normal Uno matches, no problem. But like in Uno on the 360, people just up and leave when they get pissed that you're winning. I would like competitive Uno where it gives you like a ranking, and you have to like if you quit, there's a penalty and you can't play again for a while. That would be good.
That would be good. People who quit Uno are bitches. Let's just put it out there.
Just take your ass whooping and go.
Take the L. Move on with your life.
Don't quit Uno. But if people quit, at least the bots fill in. So there's something. Lay down cards based on the color or the number person. When you get down to one card, you gotta say Uno before you drop your second card, or somebody can challenge you. And if they challenge you and they catch you, then you're fucked and you gotta take cards and you don't get to be Uno anymore. The goal is get rid of all your cards. Everybody else tallies up how much their cards are worth, and you get their points, and nom 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 nom. Whoever makes it. You can set whether it's just one round or whether it goes to a certain point value. But be prepared if you're going to play a match of Uno that it could either last 15 seconds or 15 years. There's no in between. Okay? If you get somebody who's good but keeps getting shit hands like me, I will drag that shit out until we're both sitting in a nursing home and still ain't going to be a winner. Might be why people were quitting on me.
Yeah.
But
probably.
At least it was quick and easy to find somebody else to piss off for a little bit. At the price point, $5 is what the base game is, right? And then it's $15 for all the DLC.
$5 is for the DLC for Uno Flip.
Oh, okay, just for
because
Uno
Flip is DLC for Uno.
Okay.
Uno Flip's not a standalone game. It is DLC.
I keep messing that up because when I saw it advertised, it seemed very much like it was the game on its own. Yeah. And I keep going, well, yeah, but then I'm confused.
Yeah, and Uno Flip is DLC for $5. Uno Ultimate Edition is Uno the base game with all of the DLC for $15.
The interesting thing about the DLC, good luck learning to play with the themed cards. It's confusing. They look so cool, but if you're not already like, if you're the kind of player who doesn't just kind of fly by the seat of their pants and throw whatever the game tells them they can throw, if you're the kind that like keeps actual track of how many cards of what color and suit and everything have been played, if you play a lot of Rook, you know what I'm talking about. But like if you're good at keeping that mental tabulation of what's been played and what's still out there, playing with the custom decks is really hard. Because they don't have the same, I mean, they're themed. So like, you have a set that's the Raymond theme, you have a set that's the Just Dance theme, you have a set that's Winter theme. There was another one, I already forgot what it was.
I think those are the only three.
Was that it? Okay.
For DLC, that is. I don't know. I don't remember if the base game had any additional unique twists.
Like trying to play and realize how much was still out there was so hard. But that didn't mean that they didn't look awesome, and I still enjoyed playing with them, but it just forced me to be like, well, here's what the game said I could throw, so yeah, hope for the best.
Well, the other decks have been out for a while. The big thing is, what is the unique twist with Uno Flip?
Uno Flip's unique twist is literally that it's a twist, and when the flip card is played, everybody has a different hand on the back of their cards. So in traditional Uno, your cards have a color and a number on the front, and on the back it's just, black and the Uno logo. And everybody sees the back of your hands, just like, say, in poker or whatever, or any other card game. You can see your hand, but nobody else can. When it flips, you have to actually flip your deck over and use the icons that are on the back. So your normal hand is visible to everybody, and the side of your hand that was visible is now visible only to you. And you have to play with that reversed card set until somebody flips it, and then you do it again. So you have the disadvantage that somebody can make you flip your hand. They can see what you have or don't have and can run you out of it. Makes it a lot harder to play against people like me.
You would be great in Vegas, wouldn't you?
Yeah, because I'm really good at
card counting.
Yeah, it's just, I don't want to talk about it. But my childhood was spent playing poker on the porch with my nieces for pennies. Okay? Nice. I learned to play blackjack when I was 5. They started me young. I've got some experience. So, again, if you're playing with somebody who's got a really good memory and can keep tabs on the cards like that, it can really rank up the difficulty. Cat butt.
Yeah, Pork's been walking across my desk for the past 5 minutes.
Cat butt on the screen. But yeah, it can be really difficult if you're playing against people who are good at keeping tabs and can remember, oh, this person across from me didn't have any red cards, and I saw that they only had green, so I'm gonna put down a wild, flip it to red, and now they're fucked and gonna have to draw a bunch of cards. So it was really, really interesting the way that it just threw the whole game on its head by playing with the different rule set.
Pork is rubbing his face on the microphone.
I heard.
So if people hear some noise in the background, sorry, my cat's a dick.
I will say given that it's more difficult to find a match for Uno Flip right now, normally that would affect my review as far as saying, oh yeah, the online has longevity because it's active. Even though it's not overly active right now, I would still encourage people to pick it up, try it out. It's neat to have a different take on the game, on a classic game like this. And also, I want to see that community thrive because I want to kick all y'all's asses at it.
Well, then the question is, $5 on Uno Flip DLC. What's your verdict? Definitely
buy it.
And then $15 on Uno Ultimate Edition that includes all the DLC. Verdict?
Yeah, if you don't have it already, have the base game already, then I would say go for it all. Just because having those extra card decks and stuff can be really fun. But if you're not into playing with the themed decks, or if they're just not your style, then I would say just get the game and the DLC instead.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
All right, next game to talk about is called TT Isle of Man Ride on the Edge 2, developed by KT Racing, published by Nacon, formerly Big Ben Interactive. Released March 19th on Xbox One and PS4 for $59.99, Steam for $39.99. Coming later to the Switch, race across over 50 kilometers long, ultra-technical track at breakneck speed requiring realistic riding skills. That is the challenge that awaits in TT2. Lots of new features lie ahead. Open world, reworked physics, classic motorbikes, and more. This game is fucking hard. Mm-hmm.
Yes, indeed.
How it says it requires realistic riding skills. This game is not messing around at all. This is not an arcade racer. This is 110% simulation racing. There is a career mode, lets you go through the calendar of the Isle of Man event and all the events of the season leading up to it. There's tons of races that you could do. I want to say there's upwards of like 20 different tracks in the game across 3 different locales. There's, I think, UK, Ireland, and then the TT Isle of Man track. I'll be upfront right away. I am bad at this game. I am absolutely awful at this game. My best finish was 5th place.
I am convinced that there's nobody that's good at the Isle of Man games.
I'm
sure they're out there, but I don't think they're the real.
Out of 5.
Yeah.
So that was my highest placing finish. I think
I'm going to be all curious and go check out your achievements.
I did get the achievement for falling 50 times.
Yeah.
Obviously. I've put about 12 hours into this game so far, and I can count the number of clean laps I've had on no hands because I have not had a clean lap in this game.
That sounds about right, yeah.
The handling in the game is fantastic. I have no gripes with the handling. The bike controls well. The game looks beautiful. The sounds are great. It handles great. You know, everything about this game is great, except I can't play it. I suck at it. I just, like, there's no, I can get better because I've put 12 hours into the game, and my last race, I was still 8th out of 10.
Yeah.
8th out of 10. I lose races by an average of over a minute. First place is like the last race I did, I lost by almost 2 minutes.
See,
from
when
first
I
place.
reviewed the first Isle of Man, everybody griefed me saying that, oh, you're just bad at games in general and you just need to play more racing games and you just need to know what you're doing. Nope. There is no, with this series, if you are not already like steeped in that biking culture, you're fucked.
Yeah, this is a punishing game, but it wears its punishment on its sleeve proudly.
Yeah.
Like, this is a game that right off, even in the description, requires realistic riding skills. It is a challenge. It is a challenge to play. It declares up front that it's a challenge, so I can't fault the game for being hard. It said right off the bat, this shit's gonna be hard. And it is. It's my biggest issue is I can't stop crashing.
Yeah.
And there's some games they'll have a rewind feature so you could fix your fuck ups and you'll take like a time penalty or whatever, or not a time penalty, like a money penalty or a fame penalty. There's no rewind in this game. There's very few assists in the game. In career mode, there is no selecting AI difficulty. It's just you choose between easy, medium, and hard events. And easy ones, you're still going to lose at. The first place racers in this game, they don't crash at all. When a race starts, I'm competitive. Like, for the first, I don't know, minute and a half of a race, I'm doing great. I'm taking the turns wonderfully. I'm keeping pace with everyone else. And then one turn, you just fuck up and you crash, and it is over. Completely over. There is no getting back to first. When you're that far behind, you start to panic drive and you get sloppy and you crash more, which I have done consistently through my entire time playing the game. I would get progressively worse as the race went on, just out of frustration of I'm bad at this game and I don't know how to get better. Yep. And the game's not at fault because it's a fantastic game.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't played the second one, but the first one was very pretty and it was very well done. It's just not for people who aren't already bike nuts.
Yeah, it is not for casual gamers. This is for the people who live and breathe racing games and simulation racing games. These are the people who own like the $300 steering wheel for Forza. That's who this game is for. Just to get it out of the way, the Isle of Man track, it's a over 37 miles long, 60 kilometer. It is 6 laps, the full race. I did not do the full race. I did do a complete lap, though, and it took me nearly 22 minutes for 1 lap.
Yeah, that sounds about right as well.
I played against the beginner difficulty. Beginner. I lost by 44 seconds. To the beginner difficulty. The world record time, last I checked, mine was 21:51. The record is 15:09. That's how bad I am at this game. So the review for this game is, it's an amazing game. It looks great. It plays great. It is satisfying when you're doing well. It's enjoyable to play. But if you are not a fan of sim racing games, you just avoid this game because you're not going to have fun with it. I want to play it more. I want to try getting better at this game. I don't think it's going to happen, but I'm determined to just keep playing it and do better. It's one of those games where I'm going to strive to improve. So my overall verdict on this game is a try it. If you like sim games, buy it. Otherwise, yeah. All right, next game to talk about is called Deep Sky Derelicts Definitive Edition, developed by Snowhound Games, published by 1C Entertainment, released March 24th on Xbox One, Switch, and PS4 for $24.99. Experience Deep Sky Derelicts in its ultimate definitive edition, which combines overhauled base game with its 2 DLCs, new prospects, and station life. Both editions bring new gameplay features, character upgrades, home base improvements, monsters, missions, and much more. Cole, what is this game?
So this is a tactical deck building RPG type of game. All right? It's quite a mishmash of genres. At these days, I think people just like have a D20 and roll it 5 or 6 times, and whatever genres they get from rolling that dice, that's where we are. That's what they make their game be. At least it leads to some interesting and innovative gameplay, though, and that's what you're going to get out of Deep Sky Derelict. I cannot speak today. I haven't even had my meds yet. I just can't English.
Again, we're terrible reviewers.
Derelicts. There we go.
There you
that
go.
Word is not redneck friendly. Anyway, so you have Space Marines. You have to send them out on missions. There's a lot going on with this game, and it's all very, very difficult to explain because it takes place over multiple menus and screens. Nothing happens in like one unified, cohesive space because there's a lot of strategy element involved. And it's really, really difficult to like pinpoint it down and explain it. I'm going to do the best I can. But it's really hard to like. I was trying to explain it to David when I was playing it, and I was like, "Look, I just have to show you." Okay.
So it sounds like this is one of those games that's better to see than to hear.
Very much so, and I'm sorry for that to the devs. I'm doing the best I can. I can't even pronounce the name properly, but we're gonna do the best we can. So you start off in like your bay and you choose to go on a mission. Again, everything's a different screen. So when you're in the bay with your ship, you can choose to go sell your scrap, get upgrades. This is like your main hub. From here, choose your mission. And then you get sent out to God knows where. Each of your missions will kind of take place in 2 different spaces simultaneously. Okay?
Okay.
You will have a PDA, which takes over your screen, where you can guide your crew around different environments, looking for wreckage, looking for scrap parts. Sometimes they'll get into combat. This is your tactical part of the game. You'll have a set amount of energy points that you can use, and it takes energy to do literally anything. If you're going to walk from one room to another, that's energy. If you're going to run, if you're going to crouch and try to be stealthy, all of that takes your energy points away. Thank you for putting that on screen for people on Twitch. So it says, and you still aren't even that. Okay. The scene there is the one where, is your tactical map. That doesn't help the podcast listeners though.
Not
Sorry,
at all.
guys. But if you're on Twitch, back where there were the little squares on the screen, that's what I'm talking about. You can decide how your crew is going to approach. Like I said, you can go in stealthy. You can rush through everything. But you have to manage your energy points as you're going through this area. When you click on a square that has an action involved with it, let's say there's something you can scavenge in the room. Then it takes you out to where you can actually see your crew lined up on the left side of the screen, and you'll be able to say press A to scavenge or to collect certain items, and you get to choose what you take with you. That's all well and good. But sometimes you're going to run into a room and there's going to be enemies there. That's where the second aspect of the game comes in. That's where we get to the importance of deck building. Your characters will enter combat using cards, and you can build your deck in a variety of different ways. That's kind of where a little bit of the RPG comes in, as well as the upgrading your ship and other elements like that. But you will need to, you have action points. You have to wait until it's your character's turn. It's turn-based combat. When it's your character's turn, use up your cards with your action points. Very Slay the Spire style. The combat is both my favorite thing and the thing that frustrated me the most. I have played a lot of deck building games. Slay the Spire, Cardpocalypse, Long Way Down, Frost. These have kind of become my gig. I really enjoy them. But at no point did I feel like I was picking up on the mechanics for Deep Sky Derelicts in a way that I could strategize my combat. It felt like I was constantly being limited to, you can use this item, you can use this card, you can use that card, nothing else. It never made sense to me, like, oh, I have this much action available. Like, it's not laid out in an obvious way. And so I felt very confined, and I never had the options to do or use what I wanted. Like, the cards would be there. They were never available. The second thing, this is a little bit of a smaller gripe, but it's problematic to me. The second complaint I have is that your characters are lined up on the left side of the screen. Your enemies are on the right, but the active character that you are using is shown on the right bottom. There were so many times where I was confused about who had what card even though I had chosen them specifically. I would be like, why the fuck am I getting this one now? Because it has it, you know, when you play a Kimco RPG and it's turn-based and there's like a timer bar.
Mm-hmm.
It does that, but with the cards, the characters for the cards. So as opposed to being like Slay the Spire, where you have your character, it takes a turn, and then the enemies take a turn, and then your character takes a turn. It goes through this timer bar, and it felt like it never really made much sense as to who I got when. It was just like rolling through them, as opposed to giving me the option that most would give you, like, okay, use this character's points, okay, use that character's points, or split the points between the characters, use them at your leisure. It was just, wait until you get one of them. Which sometimes meant that enemies with faster cooldowns were just laying into you. And you're like, okay, cool, I'm never going to get to go. Because their cards are just constantly coming up and mine aren't. Probably could have done a little better deck building there, but the deck building in the game is like genuinely more difficult than I'm used to, even as somebody who plays a lot of deck building games. I didn't feel like it was particularly intuitive or easy to learn. I'm sure there are people who are like super hardcore into the game and are like, oh my God, you're just bad at it. Maybe.
No, I'm bad at Isle of Man.
But I mean, I tend to pride myself. I'm like, no, deck building, I don't know why, but it's just my thing. I got it. I'm good. But I just felt so lost with Deep Sky Derelicts. I constantly was like, I don't know when it's going to let me do what I told it I wanted to do. So there was a lot of sit and wait just for it to tell me which card it was going to let me play anyway.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, that sucks. Don't do that. I had a lot of fun exploring and just finding myself like, ah, shit, I'm in a fight. You know, I didn't know that was going to happen. That was enjoyable. The other thing, though, that gets me is when you're on the screen where you're choosing which rooms you're going to go to and stuff, you have to make sure you save enough energy points to backtrack to the exit. I don't like that. If I get in there and I have found what I need, then the mission's over. I get to go home. I did what I needed to do. But in Deep Sky Derelicts, you can explore the area as much as you want to the point that you fuck yourself out of getting out.
That
which I did a lot.
sucks.
So I'd have the mission completed. I had done everything my goals were, but I'd fail because I'd run out of energy before I could get back to an exit.
No, man.
I didn't like that. Don't let me feel like I've accomplished something and then jank it out from under me. That's bad.
Especially when exploration is encouraged so much.
It is. I mean, it really wants you to go and search for, you know, you can take on side quests and stuff. The other characters will ask you to bring them back things. So you want to go and look for these resources and complete these quests, but you're punished for doing it if it uses up too much of your energy. I think, in a way, it's meant to make it more difficult. Which is dumb because it's already fucking hard for a card game. But it just cranks it up a little more and it does kind of zap some of the enjoyment out of it.
Yeah. Well, overall, $25 on it. What do you think?
There's somebody out there that has the time and commitment and interest to really go ham at this. And they're going to love it. It's solid. It looks great. I love the art style. I like the way that it plays most of the time.
Yeah.
But for most casuals or anybody looking to just try a new genre of game that's a mishmash, I can't recommend it to you because it's just going to make you irritated and make you hate a genre that would otherwise be really awesome. So I want to lean more on like a careful recommended try it. Like,
so it's like Isle of Man in deck building form.
It's for somebody, even if that somebody isn't me.
Yeah.
And I can appreciate that. And I don't want to say, oh no, avoid it completely, but just be mindful of your skill set and your time commitment to difficulty because it's there.
Man, we got some hard games this week.
Yeah, and not enough time for any of them.
All right. Well, next game to talk about is called Curious Expedition, developed by Machinen Mensch, published by Thunderful Publishing, released March 31st on PS4, April 2nd on Switch, April 3rd on the Xbox One for $14.99. Curious Expedition is a roguelike expedition simulation set in the late 19th century. Take the role of famous historical personalities and venture forth on expeditions to unexplored regions on a quest for fame, science, and of course, fortune. Cole, tell us about it.
Speaking of hard games, what a week this has been. And yet, I'm going to have to delete this game. And for the devs, that's a good thing, because that means I'm fucking addicted to it. I was a little hesitant to start with, because I'm not a huge fan of pixel art style. Especially the less pixels involved, the more irritated I become, because I think it just kind of looks lazy. But it works for Curious Expedition because it gives the map a sense of mystery. It adds to that, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to run into when I get over there, but it's going to be something. And that's kind of cool. For gameplay, you start by choosing your explorer. And your explorer is typically somebody from history. I don't know that Marie Curie was ever actually an explorer. But she is now. And her and a nun are going on an adventure, and it's a roguelike, so what your adventure is different every time. Sometimes you've got to go and find a businessman's wife who's gone on a mission and has disappeared in the jungle. Sometimes you've got to go and deliver a letter to a native tribe in the middle of the Antarctic. Shit happens, and you have to go and explore in doing so. Once you get your resources, you'll need things like a machete to cut down jungle weeds. You'll need things like ropes, climbing gear to get over hills and mountains. Or snowshoes. Snowshoes are vital. Buy all of them. You don't necessarily need these things in order to complete your expeditions, but they make it way easier. Because once you are on the expedition, you are presented with a map that uses like a honeycomb grid. Ugh, words.
Grib.
Grib. A honeycomb grid. And whenever you need to cross an area of the grid, that costs your crew sanity points. Now, you start off with a set amount. Different explorers, some of them have more sanity to start with than others. Marie Curie was who I was super interested in. For whatever reason, I really wanted to get through everything with her. And so I was dedicated. Sometimes she had 100, sometimes she had 110. I don't know what I was doing to make it different. That's just the nature of it. The rabbit is pissed off. I don't know if the mic picked that up, but he stomped.
Yeah, I heard it.
I'm making too much noise. So you cross the grid. It costs your sanity, but how much sanity it takes depends on which explorer you're using and what kind of gear you have. So if you're trying to cross thick jungle, it takes more sanity. But if you're trying to cross thick jungle and you have a machete where you can cut down the weeds, it doesn't cost as much. As you explore, you will uncover more and more of the map, and then you will run into caves that you can explore. You will find shrines from different native tribes. You might very well piss them off, but you can use those shrines to, uncover campsites or things like that so that you can rest and recover. You'll run into villages, altars that have healing powers or could put a curse on you. If you run your crew's sanity down to nothing, you are not out of luck. You're not to a point where you can't move around. You can keep going when you run out of sanity. But then insanity kicks in. And that, my friends, is where Curious Expedition gets really good. I'm going to tell you a story about an expedition with Marie Curie and a nun. And we picked up and recruited a sailor at the first village. One night, we stopped at a camp. And I got a little alert that the nun and the sailor were spending a lot of time together in the same tent. But they had more sanity, so fine. Have at it, folks. Okay? Enjoy. Then we go on our trip. Now, your main goal with every expedition is to try to find as many artifacts as you can take back with you so that you are more famous than the other explorers. You want your expedition to go quickly. You want to get as many artifacts as possible. And you ideally want everybody to make it home okay. And I say ideally. You'll understand in a minute. You need to find a golden pyramid in order to get out of the area. All right?
Okay.
So, I knew I was close to the golden pyramid. So, I kept pushing my crew. And I got an alert that my nun was going insane and that her and the sailor were bickering a lot. It's fine. Whatever. I gave them some alcohol. I gave them some whiskey. They turned into alcoholics. I may have made a mistake, but they're still trudging along with what little bit of sanity they've got. We're super close to the pyramid. I know it. I'm gonna push it. I pushed too far, and one night at camp, I got an alert that the nun had turned to cannibalism and ate the sailor.
Nice.
I might have made some mistakes in my expedition.
Just a
God
few.
damn if it wasn't fun. And then I got to the pyramid. Here's the best part. I got to the pyramid. I got out, go to start the next expedition, and they're like, so we have to assign you a new sidekick because the nun had a heart attack.
Oh my god.
What the hell have I done? I was so thrown off. Every time I got an alert in this game, I was like, the fuck am I doing here, guys? What have I done? How have I made this happen? How can I do it again? You never knew what kind of alerts you were going to get. I turned one of my tribesmen who had joined me, and he was super loyal, and I was like, I love you, and I gave him a necklace so he'd stick by my side, and we went into a cave, and he climbed through the hole, and he ain't never come out. And I'm like, damn, I wasted a necklace.
So this game sounds insane.
It is, and that's what makes it enjoyable. I knew that I was going to like it based on the premise alone of just go and explore. But it was like they took Oregon Trail and cranked it to 110. And I loved every second of it. I found myself willfully pushing to make bad shit happen just to see what it could be. I don't think anything tops the nun eating her lover sailor, though.
Yeah.
That might be the best thing you can, the best possible outcome. And then she dies of a heart attack. Like, it's the most insane story. And it's incredible.
Wow.
And your entire experience with the game is just insane stories like that.
Well, then $15, what do you say?
Please buy it. I know when you look at screenshots of it, I know when you read about it, you're going to be like, is it really worth it? Yes. If you like a game that can have random, wild experiences to just throw at you for shits and giggles, here you are. Do not sleep on Curious Expedition.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Well, next game to talk about is called Inops, developed and published by ZRZ Studio. Is that ZRZ? The fucking squiggly under my proofreader came back. And yes, no. ZRZ Studio. I never know if it's like covering it up and it's like 7R7 maybe. This is a great start to this review. Developed and published by ZRZ Studio, released March 27th on Xbox One for $11.99. Diving into the wonderful world of Inops, the 2D puzzle-based side-scrolling adventure of dark and light, battle the fire-breathing demons, and rescue the scattered Inops. Cole, tell us about this one.
This is a surprisingly in-depth narrative for a platformer where you play as a little black ball with glowing white eyes. That's the main extent of it. You're a little black ball with glowing white eyes. You wake up and you need to find the other Inops, which are little black balls with glowing white eyes. They will be asleep around the map. When you get close to them, you can wake them up, you can absorb them into you, you can make your Inops bigger, or you can break down, and have the Inops as individuals. However, when they are in that individual state, they all follow whatever you tell the main one to do. So you don't have any control over them individually. You can kind of guide them, and you'll need to. In some of the levels, you will need to like break your Inops apart so that you have multiple of them, and then time it so that you move the first one, which will result in a chain reaction in the later ones going a different route. It's hard. This is apparently the week for incredibly difficult games. I did not expect to struggle with Inops the way that I did, but at the same time, I was super dedicated to doing it. I was like, nah, I've played harder. I got this. This is just a platformer. It's fine. It's fine.
Damn, there's a lot of hard games this week.
Yeah. If you're trying to do the speed runs, God bless whoever does do that, because it wasn't me. My times were like 45 minutes per level. I got through it. That's all I cared about. You do have the different levels do sometimes have puzzles involved. You'll need to flip switches or push around bombs, activate levers. But again, you only have control of one Inops and they all follow. The plus side is that the extra Inops, they kind of serve as hit points. So you don't immediately die if you take a hit, but you will lose one or more of your Inops. If you've collected crystals, though, and you die, you can trade in a crystal and keep going, or you can just start all over. If you give a fuck about speedruns, they'll just start over. Yeah. If you don't want like your timer to show you spent 3 days working on one level, then start over. I had a lot of fun with it, but sometimes the controls are not quite as solid as you'd like.
Yeah.
There are demons that float around that's called an Ignis, and they breathe fire. When they breathe fire, they're kind of surrounded by the fire. If you try to hit an Ignis during that engulfed in flames thing, you're going to take a hit. Get fucked. Sometimes I would go to attack one. There would not be any flames. But the moment I touched it, the cheating bastard would have flames and I would die and the Ignis wouldn't. And it would take me like 8 times and I would lose all my Inops. That's horribly unfortunate. Like, letting it catch fire after I've killed it to kill me sucks. Don't do that. The jumping can also be, it's meant to be kind of loose and fluid so that you can get those good runs where you get the low times. Yeah. And I can appreciate that. You're a little ball rolling around. I get it. More blob-like because you can't bounce and things like that, and jump. But it can also make it really difficult to just learn the stage because you're doing the same thing over and over because you're inevitably going to slide off of a platform and smash your happy ass into spikes and die. Or fall into an Ignis and die. Whether you wanted to or not, it's going to happen. So you really have to adjust for that loose movement mechanic. Just because you stop doesn't mean your Inop's going to stop.
No.
Beyond that, though, there were a ton of levels. I meant to actually write down how many there were in total, and I didn't.
I don't remember either. So.
But there was quite a few levels to go through, and again, if you wanted to, you could go through the whole speed run, or you could play it from a collectible standpoint and try to collect every INOP and escape with all of them. I think there were 10 in every level. I don't think any of the later levels had more. I'm pretty sure it's the solid 10. But you could kind of approach it and play it the way you wanted to, and the game wouldn't punish you for that. But it would punish you in other ways because it was hard. I was also very impressed with how pretty it is.
Oh, it's a gorgeous game.
It definitely feels like it draws inspiration from games like Ori, with the mystical purples and blue and teal kind of color palette with the pinks. There's some levels that have more of the yellows, and it definitely feels like they...
I knew you would love the art. I knew it.
Yeah. Used an Ori style color palette, and I'm not mad about any of it. They carried it out very well. It looks very pretty. The bosses are a little odd. They just kind of feel there. Or not the bosses, but the enemies themselves. They're just they float, they breathe fire, they're kind of squarish looking. You kind of get the hint that they're a demon if you think about it a little, but otherwise you're well, you're kind of generic. Beyond that, though, everything else super pretty, and I'm really into it.
Awesome. So overall, $12 on INOPS. What do you think?
For $12, I can give it. Yeah, I can give it a buy. I think it holds up. It does. It's hard, but a little more, smoothing on the controls. And again, maybe it just bothers me because I'm not a speedrunner and I don't want to try to go flying through it as fast as possible. I want to take my time and get through it carefully. And it's not meant for people like me to do that. And that's may not necessarily be a thing that needs fixed. If I don't even know that you could turn it off in some way in settings or whatever. Or if I just need to get good. I probably just need to get good.
Yeah, get good, scrub. All right. Well, next game to talk about is called Diabolic, developed by Red Twice Potato, published by Dragius Games, released March 20th on the Switch for $4.99. Hack and slash your way to the final boss with your sword, bow, or fireballs, or all of them at once. Our friend Serlina covered this one. This is what she's got to say. Hey there, SML fam and friends, it's Serlina, and this week I am reviewing Diabolic on the Nintendo Switch. Your character is a knight who must report to the king that the land has been overrun by the dead, and good luck getting there. First, the gameplay. The game isn't hard at all. I actually found it relaxing. The enemies are mostly skeletons, and they'll come at you in droves, but you have a sword, a crossbow, and fireballs to dispatch them. Initially, your sword strikes and fireballs do 10 points of damage, but the crossbow does 20. Found the crossbow to be particularly useful, and it was my weapon of choice. The game does keep track of bolts, however, and while they are plentiful, they're still a resource that must be managed. Your mana replenishes itself at a decent rate, and your sword arm never gets tired. You can level up your weapons and magic to be more effective, and there are quite a few things to level up in each category. Unfortunately, with each level up, it requires more gold, so you need to be more aware of what you're spending your gold on. I would suggest sticking with one weapon and moving on from there. Let's talk about the enemies. There's not a lot of variety here, mostly skeletons that love to charge at you but in a straight line, thus making it super easy to kill them. There are also brute skeletons that follow the same path. Finally, we have mushrooms that love to spout magic that really, really hurts if you get hit. In one-on-ones, those are very easy to kill. Unfortunately, the enemies love to attack you en masse, and it's very easy to get overwhelmed. In fact, there were many times where I found myself running away to get a better spot to mow them all down with. The graphics are pixels, and I found it really hard to see at times. Still, it's charming in a way. I really like the boss designs, but there was no real challenge in beating them other than making sure that you don't die in the process. Dying in this game isn't terrible, but the game does take the percentage of your hard-earned gold when you die, which can be annoying when you're trying to level up your stats. But where this game really shines is the music. It has a dark melancholy and completely surprising. I played it with my headphones on, and as soon as the music hit me, I knew I was hooked. Diabolic is available right now on the Nintendo Switch for $4.99, but as of my writing, it is on sale for $2.99. Not sure how long the sale price lasts, but there you go. Should you buy it? Oh yeah, absolutely buy this one. It's short but fun and oddly relaxing. I really enjoyed my time with this one. Sounds good.
Mm-hmm.
I will have to check that out for only $5.
Yep. I'm impressed that we had one that wasn't hard. This has been a rough week.
Well, moving on, the next one to talk about is called Rico Breakout, developed by Ground Shatter, published by Rising Star Games, released March 12th on Xbox One, Switch, PS4, and PC as DLC for Rico for $4.99. A mass breakout at the San Amaro prison has brought the streets to a dangerous and unpredictable set of enemies. With a citywide ordinance in place, the Rico team is drafted in to help. Cole, you're covering pretty much the full game and the DLC, yes?
Right.
Tell us about it.
So, Rico is basically a first-person shooter with roguelike elements that has you playing as, law enforcement officers who have been given permission to enter criminal hideouts and try to put a stop to it by collecting evidence and creating a case against these criminals. The basic concept is you're presented with a building, you go in and you clear each room, and you excuse me, I've got a cough and I'm trying to hold it.
Just let it go, man. Let it go.
Okay, there we go. So basically you go in and you clear each room. You'll have certain tasks like collect so many different types of evidence or take out so many enemies while you're in a bullet time phase. When you do bust down a door for a room, you automatically go into bullet time. You have so much time to knock out each enemy. You want to get as many of them as you can, because once that bullet time ends, they're going to start shooting back. And that's problematic. That's pretty much the long and short of it. You get merits for the more you clear out, the more of your tasks that you clear out. You'll get merits, and then you can use those to upgrade. You can buy frag grenades or flashbangs or SMGs, different weapons. Those will help you clear out the rooms as you get, because as you progress, like the enemies start to have shotguns and things like that, and they'll fight back a little more. I want to touch on the art style to the game because it reminds me very much of Borderlands. Like the moment I started seeing trailers and things, I was like, that is very much Borderlands. It's got that animated comic book art style to it. Looks really good. Although there is a little bit of a problem with like the character models being repeated very frequently. They're all very generic, for lack of a better word. You got big muscly dudes without a shirt and camo pants on. Then you got the drug dealers in velour sweat pantsuit outfits, and you're like, okay, well that's very stereotypical. They look good, but you see the same ones over and over and over.
No.
I guess there's only so many different types of criminals to choose from. When you're creating a game like this, maybe I guess that's gonna be my justification for it. Yeah. Honestly, you're slowing down time, shooting them in the head, and moving on to the next room. You're not gonna care.
Yeah.
Long story short, you just want to blow through things. Yeah. And that's fine.
So what's in the Breakout DLC? I know Chris originally covered Rico back on the Switch a while back. We couldn't get a Switch key for Chris to cover this one, so that's why you got the full game to check it out. What's going on in Breakout?
So in Breakout, you do have some new weapons that you can choose from. And you also have a new level. It adds in a lockdown level that has you trapped in a prison. And the escaped prisoners are trying to take you out, as opposed to drug dealers that are actively committing drug dealing crimes. It's not an expansive DLC. It's just a little bit of an addition, like with the new level and the 3 new weapons. It's not something that's, gonna blow you away as far as how in depth or detailed it is or anything. So, but it's there. It gives you just another excuse to go in and blow away some enemies in a slightly different setting, which is fine. It's $5. It doesn't have to be overwhelming, you know? It's enjoyable for what it is, but it's not like gonna make you go, oh my God, that was the best DLC I ever played. You're just like, oh, cool, a new area. Nice. Hope I don't die 374 times and have to start over because it's a roguelike. But it's simple. At least it's, I guess if my complaint is that the base game is like very generic, at least there's a little more effort put in as far as like scenery and stuff goes for Breakout. And that's probably it's where it shines the most. Although they're all just prisoners. So again, little generic.
Yeah. Well, overall, $5 for the DLC. What do you think of it?
I do think at $5, if you enjoy the game, then the DLC is going to be worth it. I mean, it's a whole new level. If you're enjoying what's there, you're going to want a little more. And at that price point, fuck it. Yeah. Give me more.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. Final review. We got to get Dark Mika in here. I just messaged her in chat and she didn't say anything. So we're just going to try calling her and see if she's there.
That's the most Aki thing that Aki could do.
Pretty much. So let's add her to the call and let's see if she picks up. Calling Dark Mika. Here we go.
You know me.
There you be.
I am the most useless person here. Why do you try to talk to me in chat? I'll never know. I am so worthless. Why do you do this?
I don't know.
Probably because we like to prepare you for the fact that we're about to call you.
Yeah.
Oh, that ain't ever gonna happen. That's like trying to get Santa and fucking Easter. No. You have to wait until Christmas for that shit.
Yeah, Easter got canceled this year. Don't worry.
Yep. I'm not
Wait,
telling.
what?
I'm not telling my kids what day Easter is.
What day is Easter? Because I forgot that Easter was coming.
The 6th, 5th, 6th.
Didn't the
I
Vatican
wonder-
cancel Easter, though?
I don't know what the Vatican says.
The 5th.
I'm more interested in candy. So does that mean since Easter is canceled, that means all the candy will be much cheaper now?
That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know what I'm going to do tomorrow. The candy's cheaper.
I'll go buy some fucking mini eggs.
I'm going to buy so many goddamn Reese things. Oh my god. Like
It's all about the
big
mini
ass,
eggs.
like 1 pound fucking Reese bunnies. Oh my god, I'll eat the shit out of them. I can eat like a whole one of those in a day. Oh, I love that shit. I love peanut butter and chocolate put together. It is the best. I am so hungry now. Motherfucker.
Well, you got a review to do. Should we do that instead of you eating?
Yeah, because I'm not eating right now, and that makes me sad. Yes, I need to focus on other things than the fact that I want to eat. Fuck you. Ugh.
All right. Well, final game to talk about tonight. Bless you. Jesus.
Excuse me. My bad.
Final game to talk about tonight is called Beyond This Side, developed by Glim Games, published by Crescent Moon Games, released March 20th on Steam for $4.99. A woman mysteriously disappears. The cops find nothing. Sam struggles to wrap his head around the tragedy of his lost wife. Aki, tell us about this one.
Okay, so this is kind of a point and click, but not completely. You actually have to use the keyboard too. You have to use it to move around, but other than that, it's effectively a point and click game. You go around, you talk to people, and you try to solve a few different types of puzzles. There's some where you pick up pieces and move it around to fill out a picture. There's ones where you have to move torn up pieces of pictures around to make the whole picture. Things like that. They're not too terribly difficult. They are timed. It gives you like 10 minutes to fucking do each one. I think the longest one took me like 50 seconds. So I don't know what happens if you run out of time during these puzzles. Hopefully you die. That'd be interesting, I guess.
You should have tested to find out.
Yeah, I should have. I actually just finished it today because it actually comes in 3 parts. If you buy the game, you get all 3 parts. But I didn't realize that at first. So I put it off a little bit, and I probably shouldn't have. They're not exactly long. I think the first one took me like 40-ish minutes, and the second episode I think took me just a little over an hour. So they're pretty short. The third episode isn't out yet, and they don't have an ETA that I know of when it will be out. So when it's out, I can tell you all about that part too, if you want.
Absolutely.
But you play as Sam. His wife has mostly gone missing. Her name's Anna. And she, for some reason, because why not, she goes down a dark, disgusting fucking alley for reasons that no one on the planet knows, because it's a fucking stupid idea, unless she was bringing a dude back there to bang behind the dumpster or buying drugs or something. But feasibly, that wasn't what she was doing, supposedly. Some hobo saw her, and then later on, he ended up finding her purse and severed hand.
Ugh.
Yay for dismemberment. The cops couldn't find fucking anything, because that's how every game on the planet is. The cops are fucking worthless in every conceivable way. I mean, if it weren't for that, these games would end long before you ever got to play them. So, and you've been looking for 6 months and have found a whole lot of jack shit, and then suddenly now you're finding shit, because that's when we picked you up. We're more useful than the characters. It's amazing. And he's not the only one you control. You split the control between him and this cute goth girl named Mia. She believes in the paranormal, kind of, sort of, ish. She's also had a family member who's partially disappeared, except for that person is still there. Just chunks of them are missing instead, because that's gotta be fucking fun. So she's been looking into this, trying to understand it, trying to figure out what exactly is happening. And as the story continues, they eventually get together to solve this shit. And at the end of the second part, you start to have some really good thoughts on where things are going, and then it just kind of leaves on a cliffhanger, because that's how it's supposed to go, or else who the fuck would play the third one? So it's pretty fun. It's a pretty easy game. Most of it is just click on this. Okay, you got that information. Go to the next thing. Click on it. Okay, now finish this section and go on to the next crap you click. It's very simple. The story's pretty good. The spelling isn't always on point. Sometimes the spelling and grammar are just a little weird.
Oh, you're one to fucking talk.
Yeah, I don't care. My point still stands. Hey, if I tell you someone sucks at singing, it doesn't mean I have to be good at it to know they suck. They can still suck with me sucking too. Okay, fuck you. But apparently, what the hobo has deemed the broken men are the cause of all these missing people, which has apparently gone back to like the 1800s or some shit. And it's just trying to solve that to find Anna, Sam's wife. That's really all there is to it. I mean, it took me, in total, and I replayed the first one a couple times because I missed achievements in it. So I was like, fuck this, I'll just restart. I'm missing one achievement, and I don't know where it is, and it's driving me nuts. And I'm like, I don't know which chapter of the replay. I don't know, because you have to find all the things you can interact with in a room. That is the hint it gives you. I have no idea which fucking room it was.
Maybe it's every room.
Oh, I hope the fuck not. Because I really have no idea what the fuck I missed. I honestly, I don't, even if it is a specific room, I don't know what the fuck I missed. I clicked on fucking everything. I interacted with it in every way I could. because I saw that achievement. I'm like, I don't know what room it is, so I'm just going to do fucking all of them. And
well, maybe the devs will hear this and they'll get back to us and let us know.
Oh, I also posted something on the Steam because the game is already out. So it's like, where do you get this? What chapter? What room? What the fuck? So hopefully someone answered. And it was pretty much exactly that too.
Nice.
So I played the game, I think, for a little over 3 hours, and that's me replaying almost I did completely replay the first chapter after I beat it. And I got about halfway through it a couple times and restarted. So I played a lot of Chapter 1 a bunch of times. I only had to play through the second one once. But so it's probably about a 2-hour-ish game so far.
Cool. So with what's there, $5, what do you think?
Oh, hell yeah. It's worth $5 easily. Because you're at least, if you do everything perfectly and you're perfect because you're douche, you're gonna have this done in like 3 hours. I think that's worth it. That's pretty good time for your money.
Nice. All right, well, that is it for this episode. It's been a fun one. Big thanks to Jim at Wide Right for coming on and chatting with us. That was an absolute blast.
Yes,
I was there for that. It was amazing. I'm never there for fucking anything. I was there for that. I'm proud of myself.
I'm proud of you too.
Do I get a cookie then?
No.
Damn it. Asshole.
We'll give you final words. Do you have any final words to end the show?
Yeah, the reason why I didn't notice you typing things in chat was because I was playing that monster domination porn game again.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
This is not good. My ship's crashed, my zag-zig, I'm on whiplash in that black tent. Black ash on my flag pin, I go zip-zap and y'all backspin. Y'all spacecrafts call Mayday, I like tailspins when they backlit and kept scrambling for that safe space. Plays defense around dead zones. Next up to call explode. Rest up, I go death punch, it rains F up. You F us, throw episodes in all star maps to get veterans to bring bark bags, bring hellfire and little party hats for those parting ways that they tarmac. Blast off and get waxed off. These saboteurs are like pack dogs. I might shoo them off and they boomerang. Line them up and they illuminate. It goes ooh and ah, and you too late. We got a failure to communicate. And my rear view's a little planet Earth. And my calendar is straight doomsdays. Fuel up and I steamroll. You better moonwalk when that screen scroll. I feed castaways to these gamma rays. And my handshake is all sleeper hold. Ease in and get heave-hoed with no easy mode and no foul play. Bounty hunters get found out. Power up or get outpaced. Ease away to 3 a.m. Eat found freedom in the mayhem. Amen. Amen. Give me a lost world to locate. Get ghost of folk who don't obey. Okay. Okay.
You're almost out of time.
Time is not being a good friend. Smoke is being a good bookend. I'm no joke, I only go full send. Don't poke at the purebred bullhead. Dog fights the call for all fight songs. Start crossing names off the flight log. Might light cigars off the fireball. We are well past any kind of dialogue. Warfare, but on warfare. I like rocket fuel in my morning air. I like red buttons under iron fists and my stunt doubles like I quit. The kid 360 all side eye. Pluck wild geese from that twilight. I go hyperspeed and can't drive for shit. I just bob and weave and y'all skydive. Lights blink and my screen's glitch. If I lose it all, I ain't need the shit. I call bombs away, I turn moms away. You're all die alone, I'm on out today. We go eye for eye around pale moons. Fighter pilots find Jesus. I don't tread soft with that special sauce. So you was better off in some mail room. Dumb luck and no late pass. I get gussied up and I gate crash. I'm playing laser tag and playing stupid odds. Tag my name on a fuselage. Outlier in the main event. I keep downsizing y'all's data set. Infiltrators get checkmate. It's maybe best to just play dead. Ease away to 3 a.m. Eat found freedom in the mayhem. Amen. Amen. Safe and sound out the crash site.